Like, I don't see her just saying that for no reason.
I think I believe more in the Matrix, like a glitch in the Matrix, than ghosts.
Oh, dude, we're definitely in a simulation.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
statistically, we're probably in a simulation.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I'm not leaving here believing in ghosts if there's no ghosts.
I need to investigate. Like
I have to.
yeah.
I have to know.
If I die, I die. Fuck it.
I
What
have
we
to
got?
know.
Right? Yeah.
I'm
that
done.
wouldn't. Even a priest thing. You know what
I'm
would convince
fucking
me?
done.
See this empty chair right here? If that chair moved backwards, and I saw the pad decompress because someone's sitting there,
Like, there's weight in it,
and I could
Would you
have a
reach over?
conversation.
Would you reach
Oh yeah,
over?
I'd be like, "What's it? Oh, you know, like
and you felt cold air. If
yeah.
you experience all those things at the same time, would you be like,
For sure.
Ghost? There's definitely a ghost.
And
right
you know
here.
what I would do? Hey man, what's up? Let's be friends.
No,
Let's haunt people together.
Like, I
So
get what-
same thing, yeah.
No, there was a
A
covenant.
Same,
is not,
but different.
But
still same.
thing.
There was a
Evil Dead. How am I
if
dying?
he
Choke on
survived
an
that,
eyeball.
no one would believe him if he was ever like, I almost died choking on an eyeball.
Yeah.
Whose
No,
eyeball?
no, like a real eyeball.
My brother's
Yeah.
eyeball. How did it get there? A woman
Spit it into
spit it out
my
of his
mouth.
face and spit it into my
And then-
Swear
mouth.
to God, dude. Swear to God.
From
And then
like
they're just
30
like-
feet away.
They're
It was
like
a 1 in a
all
million shot,
stoned
dog.
when he decided.
Hey, welcome to the Decision Reel Movie Review Podcast, where we try and fail to review movies of today and yesterday. This week, we're going back in the past. When I say past, I mean guests on the pod. We got Georgie back.
What's up?
What's up, George?
How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
Glad to be back.
Hell yeah. Thanks for being back on the show.
Heck yeah.
It's been a minute.
Thanks for having me.
Always. There's always a seat for good old George to be here. One of almost a founding member of the show. You came in like episode 11 or something.
Whenever we did Mystery Men.
Yeah, Mystery Men. And it was, you were here for a bit. I mean, I remember we did
It was
probably
about a year almost.
Yeah, we did a lot we got through the COVID times.
Sure
and
did.
It was fun.
Had to survive them somehow. I did an episode, Hereditary,
Yeah.
inside of a little
Oh my
bubble
God,
because
I forgot about
I think
that.
I had been potentially exposed to COVID.
Yeah.
So you set up a little
That's
thing
right.
for me. I wish we were filming back then.
Dude,
You
that
could have
would've
seen
been
me
sick,
from
yeah.
the bubble.
No, I completely forgot.
That's so
it was,
funny because there was a time that I was sick. You said that you were like, we can always put you, because now that we have this, he was like, we can always put you in the living room and
Yeah.
still do it.
Right, and again, yeah, times have changed. We're not on the couches anymore. We're in a studio.
Yeah, it's very nice in here, man. I really
Thanks.
love what you've done with it.
I work with what I got,
It's great.
and there's not a lot of room in here, but it works.
No, it's bomb.
It's
Honestly,
perfect.
It's legit.
If we had more than 4 people, it might be a little tight, but it works. So
4 is the magic number.
you're right.
Little
Pretty good. Little taut. Speaking of tight, this week, Evil Dead Rise. Thank you for picking this,
Oh yeah.
because I am a big fan of the Evil Dead series, or franchise, if you will.
Yeah, same.
I don't think there's been like a release from this franchise that I was just like, meh, not for me.
Yeah, I mean even the show.
The
Asher's
show-
Evil Dead rules. That show is so good.
I any person that sits down and says I haven't seen it, I always tell them, get on it. Spooky season's coming.
It is
I
the
know.
time.
Start it.
That-
I know.
Yeah, one of the many reasons I picked this movie.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, early September. It's funny, too. Like, a lot of these movies don't come out in September.
Yeah, Haunted Mansion came out like a month ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why not do the end of September, October for a Halloween-type movie?
I don't know, man. If it's spooky, it needs to be out then.
That's what I'm saying.
Speaking of, did you
Yeah.
see the movie that's coming out in October that's made at least 2 big movies push their release dates?
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah,
That's
that makes sense.
Awesome, though. I fucking love that they were like, ain't no way we're competing with that
Yeah.
movie.
I mean, I get it.
I'm pulling it.
I don't 100% don't blame them. Like,
Yeah. Taylor said everyone in the world is going to see this tour.
Right.
Every motherfucker.
You really
But
wanna
I
go
love
against
that. I
this?
love that. I love that she was like, because she had a little thing with it. She's done a lot of documentaries and her Reputation tour was a Netflix movie. Like she did 2 documents. No,
Documents.
3 or 4 documents.
she's going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
And the Reputation tour, all with Netflix. But I think there was like she had a thing with Netflix. One of the Netflix shows made like a Netflix produced show. I think made some jokes at her dating history expense. And she's at the point in her life now where she's like, I'm over this narrative. Like
Yeah,
that people are
please
just
stop talking about
constantly
it.
talking about how that is my career.
Right, come at me.
And so I don't know if that was the reason, but she also blew up after the whole Ticketmaster stuff. She was like, this is not okay. I love my fans, and you're making it like, how are all these third parties getting these fucking tickets, and you're making it, everyone was hours to try to get in
Under her breath, though,
line
she's
just
just
to
like,
get it.
just give me the money. I just want it
Well,
all.
she also, like, she had been, like, throwing, like, bonuses at, like, the truck drivers and, like, the other people on tour
mean,
and security at
yeah.
the venues and stuff.
Treat your people right, and they'll treat you right.
But
think
she
she
came
knows
out with
that.
when she announced the movie, I mean, the tickets on the online at AMC were going, like, as soon as they
Crazy.
posted
Isn't
them.
it going to come to Netflix though, too? Though
I don't know.
I swear I saw
That's
something.
definitely.
Why not?
You know, I was going to address this later in the pod, but
Fuck it,
it's
do it.
coming up earlier. Some things are like definitely better for movie theaters, and tell me if that's not one of them. You know, like that's going to be an amazing theater experience.
Here's what I like
IMAX?
about the movie theater. Yeah, like I think the sound and everything, because not everyone's got a good sound system at their house to
Sure,
watch
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I also think it's going to be fun for especially the people who didn't get to see the concert.
Did you get to go?
I did.
Me too.
I did. Which
Lucky
one did you go
bitch.
to? It was like Philly or.
I went to Philly.
So we went to the New York.
Okay.
It was New Jersey because there's not a stadium in New York, but it was the New York show.
It's cool. The New York Giants and the New York Jets
Play
in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Fucking retarded.
But our seats we were in lower bowl, so like the 100 section, which I think is perfect for
It is
any
perfect.
concert.
I had floor seats and I liked it, but I was like, man, I kind of wish I was in the one.
I just feel like it's like
little elevation.
I think
A
for
little- a
certain
little
things,
yeah.
floor
elevation.
seats would be a cool experience. But with something, especially the spectacle that she always puts on, I want to see it all.
Yeah.
I want to be able to see it.
I was sad I couldn't see like the floor had
Yeah.
like hologram looking stuff on it,
Right,
projected,
it was very
projected
good.
onto
It
it.
was
It was
very good.
amazing.
And she
Exactly.
directs all, like she puts all that together. Like she comes up with all the things. But we were also right behind the celebrity tent.
Oh, nice.
And in our tent, Steve's heard me tell this story 3 times now
Fine,
because
I'll
I'm
just
so
drink this.
pressed on it. In my tent was Miles Teller.
I don't know who that is.
Miles Teller.
Whiplash.
Maverick, the new Top Gun movie. Like he's
I haven't
Fan
seen
four
either
stick.
of those.
the
Huh?
Divergent,
Fan 4-stick.
Divergent movies.
I don't know what that is.
Fantastic Four remake.
I've
that-
not seen literally
I
any
can't
of
believe
these.
you don't know who Miles Teller
You
is.
know who Miles Teller is.
Okay,
The
well,
minute-
I know. I'm
It's okay, I've
familiar
got
with
more.
his work enough. I've heard the titles of his work.
It's okay, I've got
That's
more.
it.
Aaron Rodgers,
got more.
the football player.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't know sports.
Uma Thurman.
Oh, I love Uma
There you
Thurman.
go.
I love
Brad-
Quentin Tarantino.
Bradley
Gonna
Cooper.
get one.
Bradley Cooper rules.
Uma Thurman's daughter, what's her name? The one that's in Maya Hawke.
Maya Hawke,
Or
yeah.
Ethan Hawke's daughter was
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You look like Ethan Hawke.
Phoebe Bridgers, who is a singer.
Okay.
She actually
Yeah.
opened for her, and then she went to the celebrity.
Okay,
tent.
yeah.
Phoebe Bridger.
Paul Rudd.
What? Oh, I saw pictures, and maybe it was from your show. I definitely
I
saw him in the
just,
sense people.
My
yeah.
sister was getting she was getting so annoyed with me because I was, I think, more excited to see like Bradley Cooper and Paul Rudd walk out of that tent, and she was like,
Yeah.
"You just watched Taylor," and I was like, "But I knew I was going to see Taylor.
Yeah,
I didn't
bonus.
know I was going to see Paul Rudd and Bradley Cooper walk out of that tent, and
Yes.
Miles Teller. I took
That's
pictures of all of them. I was very
Awesome.
excited.
That's very cool.
Trying to get a good picture of Miles Teller for this guy.
But
I'm
having
not
said
gonna
that,
know
I
what it
think
is.
that like for people who didn't get to go, I think a theater is and you're going to be with all these other Swifties, and everyone is going to, you can sing along, you can like have a good time. Anyone who goes to that theater and doesn't expect people to like,
Be singing the whole time.
don't go.
Yeah, you're totally
This
right.
is don't go because this is meant to be a fun experience.
It's basically
It's not
a
like any
concert,
other
like,
movie where you have
yeah.
to sit and be quiet the whole time. Like,
oh yeah.
it's a concert. It's like the people that just got met, like that all that drama at Adele's concert recently. They got mad because the guy was standing up and like dancing and stuff. And this woman comes up and she's like, "The people behind you are very upset because you're standing up." And he was like, Adele has signs all over the venue there that says, "Please stand, please dance, please sing along."
Yeah.
To the point where she saw that security had gone up to him like 3 times and she stopped mid-song, told the band to stop. And she was like, "Can you guys stop bothering him? He's fine.
he's
not
vibing.
doing anything wrong. Let him have a good time."
Can't y'all
Right.
read?
Yeah.
But the
Everybody
comments
start
on
having
all
as good
these
a time as he
videos
is.
Yeah,
are
yeah.
definitely split.
Why?
Like some people are saying that the guy that wanted to get up and dance was self-righteous. Like, how entitled are you that you're not the only one there, blah, blah, blah. But then other people are like, "I've never gone to a concert and sat the whole time. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I don't want to sit and watch the concert."
Well, I mean, depending on the concert. Like if it's like a
This is
chill
not a
vibe.
Broadway
If it's
show.
orchestral music or a Broadway show,
So you're sitting.
Hold on.
have a seat.
If I'm going to see the Metal Gear Solid reenactment orchestralia, orchestralia, however you want to say it,
Orchestral.
done, thank you. I'm standing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
You're right.
Yeah.
Anything else, yeah, I'll sit.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I get it was a Vegas show. It's a little, it's in more of an amphitheater setting, but
Vegas, yo.
but it's still
Everybody
a
should be
concert.
hyped.
Also, those tickets are expensive, and they sold out like instantly.
Yeah.
He was probably so psyched to be there. If you weren't, why did you buy that fucking ticket?
We shouldn't
Let
even have
someone
to be
else have it.
defending standing up at a concert.
No, that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
That's
Unless
a
you were
silly,
seeing like Billy Joel and he's like just
I'm
on
seeing Billy
I'm
Joel
standing up.
in like
With Stevie
a
Nicks?
month.
Okay, but
October
but
6th
if
or
it's a
whatever it
song
is,
that's
6th or
chill and
7th.
everybody wants to
7th.
kind of chill with him, all right. But when he hits that chorus, you better be getting off your ass and dancing to
Yeah.
it.
I don't think he's playing Tell Her About It, but if you don't dance when Tell Her About It plays,
You're right.
you're tripping. Because
I mean,
like,
I would
love that
already
song.
be standing for Stevie. So like, I'm just gonna be like keep standing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So get your steps in before you do it because your legs are gonna get a workout.
If you're not up, it just makes me think of that Family Guy episode where they're at the Fleetwood Mac or whatever tour, and Peter's like, if she plays at just 17, everyone needs to get out of my way. And you hear it start, and he's like, get out of my way, get out of my
He's, like,
way.
knocking
And
people
he's got one of the frilly kimonos on, and he's like spinning around. If you haven't seen that family, now it's like coming up more because the tour is starting, so it's like going around again on the internet.
That's funny.
I wouldn't stand for Evil Dead. Rise.
Because you're already rising.
Yeah. It's their job to rise, not mine.
Good segue, because I was going to try and make one there, but
I got
she
you. I got
got
you.
me. I like it. It's good. So, yeah, Evil Dead Rise. We're here to talk about that. The plot of the movie real quick. A twisted tale of two estranged sisters whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of a family imaginable.
Did you say thrushing?
Probably.
Thrusting.
It is
Thrusting.
thrusting. Okay, so for a second I was like,
He said thrusting, but my brain autocorrected for
Thank you.
well, so my brain, I was like, I don't think that's right, but it's almost
Thrusting
sounds
is a
right.
word.
It like
It's
almost
not
sounds
that
right.
word.
Everybody just makes fun of my speech impediment. It's fine.
I didn't, Steve.
I don't think that counts as.
Thanks, George.
I don't think
I knew
that
you're back for a
counts.
reason.
I observed it, but I'm not.
I don't think
Didn't
it
judge me
counts
for
as
it.
the impediment.
Anyways, they're thrusting them into a primal battle.
Awesome.
I like that better if I'm being
Thrashing.
honest. Yeah,
Did I just make a word up?
No.
it's like thrashing and thrusting together.
Okay. Together.
Portmanteau.
I like it. Where to watch if you got a subscription to Max, not HBO Max anymore, just Max. You can watch it there. Anywhere else, you got to pay for it. YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, Vudu, and Amazon. Where did you watch it?
Max.
Oh, look at you.
It's the one I have this time.
Okay.
I mean, I have a lot of them, but
Sure.
Like-
when did you watch it again?
Today.
Oh,
Yes.
so you're fresh.
I'm very fresh. Yeah.
You're just right in it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. How many times have you seen it?
This is the second time.
So
I
you
saw
saw
it in
it
theaters.
theaters, yeah.
Of course.
Oh yeah, dude. Let's talk about this for a second. In theaters, when that opening fucking hit and she's rising out of the water and the Evil Dead Rise comes up behind her, I think I went to the XD version by us. Everything was shaking.
Was it the loudest thing you've ever heard in your entire fucking life?
Yes.
Yes.
And I was like,
my movie had
let's
the same
go,
thing. Yeah.
dude. Oh, dude, I was so excited.
This movie uses bass very effectively.
It does.
Yeah.
There's a good atmosphere in this movie to where, like, obviously you're here, you know what's going to happen, but I just feel like dread is always around the corner. Like, even in the beginning of the movie where there's nothing happening, you're still like, something's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I mean, at what point? Oh yeah, there's a solid 30 minutes between the opening thing and the book.
Mhm.
It still feels pretty
Ex
ominous.
mortis.
Like they're just walking around the halls in the yeah.
well, also it's such a dingy, shitty, but like, I don't know why it reminds me of The Mask a little bit, like that Art Deco style, like architecture.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, like I don't know what the word would be for it, but it just kind of looks like
early
it.
Gotham.
Yeah. But that building brand new, I would live in it. But
Okay, yeah.
at this point, you could tell the rent is overdue and they haven't paid it, and that rent's probably like $100.
Yeah, you can tell that they're knocking it down in a month.
Right. This is written and directed by Lee Cronin. His only other director credit is a movie called The Hole in the Ground, which was only released in the UK, but also had a limited release here for like a week and only made like
Is it
30
also
grand. A scary movie, yes.
yeah, because it sounds like it would be.
Does he have like shorts or anything on YouTube?
So he's had a couple short videos or short movies, if you will, and that's obviously where he got.
I was wondering like what brought him up to Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, like what made them
Right.
be like, this
They
is the
probably
guy.
saw The Hole in the Ground, was like, it's a good hole.
Interesting, because where does he find the book?
A hole in the ground.
Whoa, good one.
That's good. Look at you connecting the dots.
I like that.
It's pretty good. And I wonder if like maybe that was if we watched
what was
the hole
in
in
that
the ground.
hole in the ground. I feel like I need to know like what was in that one.
I mean, yeah, that's a great way to like. Oh my God, that's almost like Evil Dead 1. It's like the first 15. You know,
right.
The
Moving
first
them
15
together.
minutes of Evil Dead 2 is basically just a recap of Evil Dead 1.
Maybe the hole in the ground is like he made his version of what he then made this into.
Maybe like that is what's I don't know.
I will say
Lots of speculation.
I do like how this movie changes up the Evil Dead formula without actually doing anything different. Right, we're in a high-rise building, not in a cabin in the woods.
Oh, absolutely.
Right,
but
yet,
it feels almost exactly the same.
Right, which that's the whole point of Evil Dead, right? So you change where you're at.
It ends up back in a cabin in the woods.
Yeah, they definitely have that callback.
I mean, starts in. But
I'm glad they do like a triangle shape.
Well, no,
cabin
you're
too.
right though. It ends up.
It ends up because that's technically after the.
Dude, that shot of the cabin, but then the edges of it is like rolling up.
I noticed that today. The and the trees are coming up around. It's almost like it's fisheye, but it's not. I think they either did it one of two ways. They shot the exact same shot with a regular camera and then with a fisheye and just took out the middle and just allowed it to go up, or they're doing something else. Something digital that either way, very effective. I saw it today too.
Yeah, because you're like, well, yeah, obviously that's like
ominous.
Yeah, dude, it's so
like
good.
Fucking claws coming out the ground about to wrap that thing up.
That's what I'm about. When a movie shows you what you want to see without actually paying attention to it, like that, you saw it today, but you didn't see it in the original.
Yeah,
you know, like fuck, so good. And the movie itself does look little.
It's the meds. You know, just
must be.
The movie does look a little different too than even the last Evil Dead movie, like the one from 2013. Like just the film, not film grain, but like the way it looks, like the coloring of it.
I would say, yeah, this one has a very specific color scheme, maybe
palette.
The tone palette, is definitely like
specific palette.
So also, first time I saw Evil Dead was because of this podcast because you were someone picked it.
Right.
So you guys are just
Evil Dead 2013.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she hasn't seen the originals.
No. I'm going to be honest. I don't really watch
horror.
Old
movies.
Especially horror because sometimes they seem too like.
Yeah. Evil Dead has a weird.
Just because they didn't have the capabilities.
Sure. And if you were to watch the first Evil Dead, you would probably go, what am I watching? This is kind of dumb. And then you get through it, and then you watch Evil Dead 2, and you go, well, this is just the same thing but made better.
Evil
but
Dead
also
1 revamped.
Kind of. The first 15 minutes of Evil Dead 2 were just like
Evil Dead 1.
Because if it were chronological, Ash is the stupidest person in the world.
100%. Because he goes right back to the cabin.
And does the exact same thing. He's like, oh, my friends are dying again.
Right.
Well, I forgot.
Is it me?
Yeah.
When was the original Evil Dead?
78 or something like that.
I was gonna say 80s, so late 70s.
Yeah,
probably.
Like that.
Look,
and then 2013. Was that called Evil Dead? I don't even remember. It was just called Evil Dead.
Yep.
But technically, not a remake because it was a little different. Is that what you're saying?
You could call it a reimagining is probably the phrase that I would use because it doesn't keep the same characters.
A refurbished version.
It's different characters, but it's almost the exact same plot.
Okay.
But every plot point is handled a little differently. The kills are different. It's not a shot-for-shot remake by any means. And the themes are a little different too. It takes itself a little more seriously.
Well, no, it is a sequel. They've said that because Bruce Campbell, if you watch past the credits, he comes out and he says groovy, and then the movie ends.
I have
right?
seen that. Yeah, I saw it in
So
theaters.
they said that this is like the same cabin, but yet in the future.
Have you heard the 3 universes theory or the 3 books theory?
Well, yeah. So okay, we're gonna get into it.
I'm sure you have. Yeah.
Right. If we're gonna get into it, this movie. For people who are confused, going, well, wait a second. If this is chronologically in the Evil Dead from 2013, well, that book is completely different looking than this book. This book has fucking claws and a mouth on it. This is a different book.
How did it get there?
Right. So, Army of Darkness is canon in this thing if you're going by it because there are 3 books, right, in Army of Darkness where he's in the fucking cemetery.
Yeah,
when he's trying to call out the words or whatever. So this is one of those books.
None of those books look like this, but we'll let that slide.
We'll let it slide.
Yeah. Also,
because it looked tight.
That is something that I love about Evil Dead is I don't like it when lore is taken too seriously sometimes.
Yes.
You know?
Just make it how you want to make it fit in the movie.
It's the same way I feel about Zelda. It's like everybody's like, oh, timeline, but I'm like, dude, it's just this is the next Zelda game. Like, just enjoy it for what it is. Same thing with Evil Dead. It's just like, yo, here's some more Deadites. Like, just watch them fuck shit up.
I can tell you right now, though, like from one of the first things that I'll say about like comparing Evil Dead to now Evil Dead Rise, I still wouldn't because I'm too paranoid of shit like that. You have a better chance of me opening that first book than one that's got fucking teeth on it. There's no way
in the trash bag with
there's no way I'm opening that. There's no way I'm taking that book. I would probably be grossed out by the fact that it's got like not okay.
Yeah.
I will say,
who goes? I bet there's some good shit in there.
Yeah,
like,
if I was something that I want to touch,
right?
No,
I wouldn't even want my hands on it.
Yeah, I feel go take a shower because I looked at it.
Yeah.
If I was in the situation where there's a hole in the ground now after an earthquake, and I look in it and I'm like, whoa, there's shit. I'm going down.
I absolutely fucking believe.
I'm going down. There.
I have a ghost story to tell. Somewhat related to that in a minute.
I'll come back right to it. So
I have to pee.
Okay, you can go.
You're welcome to do that.
We can. Ghost story. What do you got?
Oh, you really want me to tell it?
Yeah.
All right, I'll kill some time.
You offered.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're talking about
don't
spooky
tease,
stuff.
Don't like bring it up.
All right, here we go. Well, so okay.
Don't tease.
Don't get it twisted.
Oh, okay, that was pretty good.
That was good. Like I hate puns, but I also love them. All right. So I'm in. I go to Gettysburg for this horror movie convention with my friend Corey.
So you're in a cabin in the woods, and
yeah, exactly. We find this book. No, so we're at this horror movie convention, and he's really into ghosts. And I'm not really into ghosts, you know.
Like the paranormal in general.
I like the band Ghost.
I know.
Yeah, I'll tell it again. I mean,
he's into the paranormal, you know. And I'm not really a believer. You know, I've just never I feel like I'm open to it. I've just never, you know, hadn't experienced anything that I was like, okay.
Yeah, and had a reason to be like, okay, sure.
Like, why am I going to believe something?
That wasn't my mind playing tricks on me. That was an apparition.
Right. You know, my mom has told me like she's had things that happen to her, and that kind of is what the thing that keeps my mind open because I'm like, man, my mom's a pretty pragmatic woman. Like, I don't see her just saying that for no reason.
I think I believe more in the Matrix, like a glitch in the Matrix, than ghosts.
Oh, dude, we're definitely in a simulation. Like statistically, we're probably in a simulation.
Right. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So we're in Gettysburg, and he wants to do this ghost tour. So we, you know, he books this ghost tour, and I'm like pretty drunk, and I'm just like
feeling it.
I'm not like making fun of it at all. You know, I'm there, and I'm like engaging, and like she's like, look in these windows, and we take this walk through, you know, historic Gettysburg. She's telling us the stories, and we're looking in windows and trying to see. You know, she'll say sometimes you'll see a moving shape.
Now, was it just? Sorry to interrupt. Was it just you guys on this tour? Or was it like a bigger?
It was like maybe 8 to 10 people.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're all going on this tour, and some people have like EMF readers, and they're really, really into it. And we get through the whole tour, and it ends near this graveyard.
Did people bring salt?
Salt?
Oh, yeah.
Like for purification purposes?
No, you can protect yourself with salt by pouring a circle around you.
Or even if you throw it at a spirit, they'll kind of like vanish.
Pocket sand, but salt.
Have you not watched Supernatural?
Nobody did that. Nope.
Or seen Hocus Pocus?
Yeah. I remember, yeah.
Where you make a circle of salt around?
That's what I'm saying. That's because salt is pure. Yeah.
Pure cane sugar, too. What?
So, anyways,
use cocaine?
Because it like purifies. Maybe it's because it like purified meat back in the day by like you could like cure it. Maybe that's where that came from. I don't know. But so we go on this ghost tour, and you know, neither and Corey's like really looking, like he really like believes, and he's like, I didn't see anything. Like he feels like I imagine he feels like ripped off.
Like
he's
feels
like,
cheated.
I wanted to like I went on a ghost tour. I want to see a fucking ghost, like for real. And you know,
like now we're going to the cemetery because someone is going to show me some fucking ghosts.
Yeah,
like,
so
I want to see a dead body.
That's where the tour ends. And he goes, okay, I mean, that was really fun. But he goes to the guide, and he's like, that was really fun. But like, seriously, like, where is it really, really haunted? Like, where do people not go? She was like, do you really want to know? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, it's not far from here. I'll take you to the edge of where it begins, but I'm not going in there. If you want to go, you can go. And Corey's like, do you want to do it? And I was like, I don't care. Sure.
Yeah, let's walk into this
immediately no
pit.
It's yeah. And it's super ominous. Like the rest of the group does not go. But she takes us, and it's like only 3 blocks away. We're kind of already on the edge of the city. I don't know Gettysburg well, so I might sound stupid to people who do, but it feels like we're on like the edge of the city because like, you know, buildings are more sparse, etc. Maybe it's just a park or something. But anyways, it's dark. I can't tell.
Sure.
And she's, got her little lantern, and she walks us a couple of blocks, and Corey's talking to her. Yeah, for sure. And she stops kind of like at the same point the street lights stop on this this walking path.
Okay.
To the right is kind of like a building, and then like a tree line begins on both sides of you. And there's like a little bridge, a couple 100 feet up.
It almost sounds like you're walking into a whole different story. You know what I mean? Like that it changes that drastically.
It really was like kind of a sudden thing. So even I was like, okay, like even if nothing's going on, like there's gonna be a spooky
literally
little walk.
like it's like the lamppost is stopped. It's more like shrubbery. It's literally like no one will go there. Like the electricians won't go there.
Yeah.
The landscaping people won't go. It's
Super
just
cursed.
this whole other like a what's it called? Like a force field, just like right there where it just changes on the other side.
It kind of felt like that. So because it just the darkness alone like is immediately striking. You can't see more than a couple feet in front of you, really. So she tells us, so go down this path, and people do say they see things on the edge of the woods in the path, and if you look up to the right, you're going to come up on a hill, and if you look up to the right of the hill, people say almost every night that you can see like soldiers on the hill, horses specifically on the hill. So have fun. I'm not going down there though.
So it must have been like a battle area. Then,
she might have said something like that, but I mean it's Gettysburg, so like I imagine like the whole tour was like, this is where X number of people died. This is where they kept their sick. X number of people died here. Like the whole tour was just like this, like tons of soldiers died everywhere in that city. So no exception for this hill, I'm sure. So, we start walking down the path, and you can kind of see, like, the silhouette of the hill, like the moonlight coming over it and stuff, and it's really cool. It's a very dim moonlight, so it's just enough to kind of see, like, it's really just, like, exactly as, like, spooky as you're imagining.
Sure, yeah.
You see just the edge of the trees. You can kind of see just a glimmer of the path, etc. So we're walking, and, like, I stop to pee, and I'm just not taking it super seriously, and Corey's, like, really into it, and he's, like, spooked out by, like, everything.
What's that?
We make it over the bridge,
like a squirrel moves,
and it's so silent. And
that's a little creepy.
A couple 100 feet up ahead, I see on the left, just a little, right off the edge of the path, right at the tree line, basically, about 3 to 4 feet off the ground. I'm estimating, just a little bouncing, glowing light.
It's like an orb, or
exactly like an orb. Exactly like an orb. So I'm like, okay, I'm not leaving here believing in ghosts if there's no ghosts.
I need to investigate. Like
I have to know.
If I die, I die. Fuck it.
I have to know.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, that's why this story, what you said, made me think of it. Like you're like, oh, I'll definitely go get that book. I'm like, maybe I would too, actually, because I was like, I'm definitely getting as close as I can to this. I need to investigate. I'm not going home believing in this shit for no reason. Because at that point, I was spooked, like for sure. So I get closer and closer and closer, and Corey like stays back. He's like, I don't want to go.
That's what he wanted to see.
You told me we're doing this.
Yeah.
You're coming with me.
He's the reason you guys went over there.
He walked a little bit, and then I think he stopped. So
what a bitch.
So I get to so I get pretty close. I'm like 10 feet away, and it's just still sitting there, just glowing, just sitting exactly where it is, just ever so slightly, like shuffling a little, like
just like what's it called, hovering.
Exactly that, yeah. And so I get right to the edge of the path where it's at. It's maybe not even 10 feet from me. And I'm looking right at it.
What is it?
Hate this.
I say, hello.
Yeah.
And I hear, hello?
No, you didn't.
I swear to God. And I hear shuffling in the woods.
No.
I swear to God, listen.
God.
You can hear a ton of shuffling in the woods. The leaves, crunch, crunch, crunch. More glowing orbs. It's a little old lady with a little flashlight on her waist with another ghost tour, and they're all coming out of these fucking woods. I was fucking dying.
I would have had a panic attack. I would have been like, do you not realize what you've done?
Yeah.
I almost believed for a second. You fuck you, lady.
Yeah. It was just a sweet little old lady. She was like, hello. Like, I must have been, like, just staring at her. But she couldn't see me either, so I guess I probably creeped her out, too, because I came up real quiet.
So she's just standing there, though, and that was... The orb.
The orb,
flashlight
they all
was-
had little flashlights on their waist. I guess like maybe the ghost tour group was like giving these to people so they didn't lose them because they were going through the woods.
So but you said it wasn't getting bigger or anything. So was someone
it was just
like,
a little like flashlight. Like
She was probably standing there.
She was just
talking
standing there
to
on
them.
the edge of the tree
But you
line
couldn't
quietly.
see her because it was dark.
It was so dark.
and
I couldn't
the light
see her.
was right there. So it was probably taking up all
exactly
of the...
that. Yeah.
So think of
it
how
worked
many.
out like too perfectly. I was like, oh my
So
god.
when you said you had a ghost experience,
You really had an old
Well, I
lady
couldn't tell that. I
experience.
can't sell the story if I don't.
You're right.
You know,
What a salesman. But again, think of how many ghost encounters people have had that could be just that.
yeah.
A easily explainable. It's not a glowing orb. It's a fucking flashlight on the ground from some lady walking with it, right? Or you could say, okay, we live very close to the most haunted place on the planet, they say.
Which one?
Point Lookout.
That's supposed to be the most haunted place on the planet.
The
I didn't know that.
what is it? The lighthouse, right? That's down there.
like, yeah,
Maldor, what is it? The Maldire,
I have no idea.
whatever fucking witch and all that shit.
That's up here in
down here.
Leonardtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Point Lookout Lighthouse is supposedly the hauntedest. I can't talk tonight. The most haunted place
Yeah.
on the
That,
planet.
that is
Yeah.
it.
So I got
There
a
you go.
story then.
You
We're
found
gonna do ghost stories. We're gonna do
Okay.
ghost stories.
Cool.
I used to work at a construction kind of company that was doing cabinets and stuff like that, countertops, what have you. And we got contracted to go and put some cabinets into the Point Lookout Lighthouse because they were remodeling certain areas, right? Okay, cool. Let's fucking go, right? I wasn't the guy to go out and do stuff in the field with regards to installing, but I want to go. I want
Wow,
to check it
okay.
out because at this time you couldn't go that far because they were doing a whole bunch of different remodeling in the area. So I was like, let's go. So we go. And we're doing our thing, whatnot, and I don't know if it was lunchtime or what, but we decided, well, let's go in the basement because that's like the most haunted place.
Yeah.
And it's daytime, obviously, because we're working, and we're in the basement, we're walking around, and it's like 4-foot tall ceilings. So you're, crouching, walking around, and there's a bunch of rooms down here, and it's not haunted, it doesn't feel haunted, it feels eerie because why is there so many sectioned off rooms that are so small in this lighthouse in the basement?
Yeah.
Turns out for torturing people.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of people who died in there, right? So
That's
I'm
why
walking
it's
around.
such a
horrifically,
haunted. That's
obviously.
why it's such a haunted area.
Exactly.
So they say.
Right.
Like,
They also said the guys that were working there who they worked there because they had to be there to watch us or whatever. He was like, if you really want to see the most haunted thing, go all the way up to the lighthouse. Like go to
What?
the top of the lighthouse. And I was like, all right, fuck it, let's go. So I start
which is,
walking up there.
I feel like you would think the opposite. You'd think down where you were would be where you'd.
So the reason, and I found out because I went up there, is going up there, it's a spiral staircase that slowly gets smaller towards the top until you get to a room with a door. So I'm going up there and I open the door and there's no light in this room. And I can see in it.
You're by yourself?
I'm by myself. I can see in it, but I can't see far enough for what I'm hearing coming out of this room. Now,
Got me on the edge of my seat.
I'm a very strategic person that I need proof and I need to see it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm standing at this door that I opened myself that went, and then I'm hearing literally this.
Shut the... I'm going to have nightmares.
I mean, is that not just wind?
So I'm like, I don't have a flashlight.
Because wait,
I don't know what's in there.
It's the top, right?
It's the top.
So it's near the.
It's near where the opening would be to go up to
Right.
the
Okay.
final top or
Yep.
whatever. I think this was
So
maybe
like the bulb itself.
correct.
like,
I think
or
it was a
whatever the fuck.
room, and then there was a little bit more stair, and then you're at the lighthouse part of it. But I'm just staring at this open door in which I can see maybe 5 feet in, and then like you kind of said, blackness.
Yeah, yeah.
Like-
That utter pitch blackness. Yeah.
And this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And I'm standing there by myself, looking down these steps, like. I'm like,
It's not like you can run down there.
should I go in? I don't have a flashlight. It's under construction. Is there a floor in there? So I
You
take
didn't
2
have like your
steps in.
phone to like use a light on your phone or anything.
So this was a while ago. This was probably like 2012.
But
2013.
I don't mean like the actual flashlight, but I mean your phone would make, even a flip phone made light, like the screen had
I
light.
don't remember. I just
'Cause
remember.
immediately I would
Yeah.
be like, ah!
Right. I remember taking 2 steps in, and then I felt the floorboards like go underneath my feet, and I'm like, I don't think I should step in here. And then I'm never gonna forget this. I heard, and it could have been something, a voice. Where that voice came from, to this day, I'm thinking it's the guys I was with, but I literally heard a, get out. But ever so silent. So it wasn't like, and there was nobody around me. And this is, steps. You got to go up. Unless there's like a pipe down in the basement that somebody could be like, let's fuck with Steve. Get out. You know what I mean?
Maybe that guy that sent you up there knew that.
Right?
And he's down there.
That's some construction site shit.
Or my head just said it. You know what I mean?
The guys that work there are like they have fun every time someone comes out there and they're like, watch.
Probably.
Every time some tough guy comes out, they're like, we're going to get that
We're going to get
motherfucker.
him. But like, again, I would have went further in it, but it was like, I can't see anything and I don't trust this
Like
1,000-year-old fucking, And I just heard that. I was like, you know what? No, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I just walked back down. They're like,
someone would get out and you're like, okay, yeah.
I will.
You know what?
yes,
Done.
Mr. Foreman, I'm getting out of the area that's not safe. Yeah.
Thank you for the instruction.
You're right, sir. That probably yelled that from downstairs. Here I come.
Definitely not a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the only time that I've ever had anything beyond driving home late at night, thinking you see something on the street and you go, oh shit,
I think that's
and
more
then it's
fatigue.
like, your brain's just going, you saw something. It was a raccoon.
So we're
doing just ghost story podcast now.
Yeah,
I like it.
a little while after. I'm in the middle on like the paranormal stuff or the ghost stuff.
She's in the mid.
And I think part of it is because I'd like to think that like you don't just go nowhere. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like that there's something, even if it's just like a parallel something that
Some
you
sort
just
of
can't
residual
see.
energy that like it doesn't just like disappear into nothingness. Like it has to do
I'm
something.
not suggesting that all the time around us there are just people walking around that we can't see, but maybe just
But maybe.
But you could, and maybe in certain places it's different than others. Like energy is
I'm
different.
I'm open
blah,
to
blah.
anything. Yeah, I'm with you.
I will say that like the paranormal style movies are the ones that
Get you
that
more than
get me, but also I'm invested in more.
okay.
So of the genres, demons.
Like, what do you mean? Like them or
I'm
scare
saying,
me? Or
do they hit you the same way? Like, I'm trying to
Ghost or
narrow down the
paranormal,
paranormal that is the paranormal for you.
So like
Demons?
Possessed
the paranormal
nuns.
activity movies, for example.
Sure.
Where like shit is like it's like just happening and then it like kind of builds up.
That's too much.
But then that's like, okay.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if that shit were to happen, I'd be like,
Because then you
moving.
go, my ice maker just dropped some ice. That's a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
shit
like
sucks.
for example, I would also never fuck with a Ouija board. Like
Okay.
me personally,
I know what I'm doing tonight. Let's
I
go.
wouldn't
fuck
fuck.
with a
I
Ouija
wouldn't
board.
fuck with a Ouija
Yeah.
board.
Because there's always the person who's going, oh my God, it's moving. I'm
Yeah.
fucking
And
moving
that-
it, of
but
course.
honestly, that's one of the reasons I wouldn't.
You
Because
don't-
I'm not
yeah.
going to trust anybody else that I'm doing it with, but I also wouldn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
Because,
But you
like,
can't. You can't. That's the whole point
You
of
have
it.
to have two hands. You
Yeah.
have to have two people touching it at least.
And what happens when it doesn't move?
And
Because
there's
you're both like,
no
I'm not
one.
moving it.
There's honest to God, I can't say anyone that I would trust to do that with that I would know wouldn't fuck with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do it.
You
with
know what
me.
I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd be like,
Absolutely.
oh, it's a ghost here.
Yeah.
I don't even trust that I wouldn't fuck with
said you
someone.
suck.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, you're right.
But when you get further into those paranormal activity movies, where it's like then that coven, like the grandma is like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's so
and it gets too
So
crazy.
that's not what you're into?
Then I'm like, okay, we've gone too far.
Exact opposite for me.
So you like the more
Exact
extreme.
opposite. Because to me, all right, imagine this
You're
movie.
a story guy.
Imagine this movie.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. There's no fucking demon. There's no anything. But this coven of witches and shit believes it. And like Rosemary's Baby, they still ruin her life, destroy her family
But there's nothing.
But it's not actually real.
for nothing.
That's-
But the families is still fucking ruined. They've still been terrorized. All the horror elements are still intact exactly. Just no payoff of, oh, the witches, they were right. There's demons. No
That's
demons.
more.
I
That's
guess-
more haunting than if there was a ghost.
And,
So-
and effectively, it's the same thing in Paranormal Activity 3. When he walks into the garage, I always cite that scene as one of the scariest scenes in the movies to me. When he walks in the garage and it's like a dozen people and they all
They're
turn
just
to look at him.
standing there.
Yeah.
I was like,
What the fuck?
it was probably one of the scariest I've ever been in a movie theater.
I guess what I mean is that
Just a man
because
bingo
like
party?
with the first couple
You know
and
what I'm talking
even most of that movie, it's the unseen, it's the unknown that makes it.
Yeah.
So then when you add this other thing, it's like, okay, are we doing too much? Like, are we doing like
I
a
see
lot?
you. Yeah.
But I also like The Conjuring is creepy as fuck to me.
Yeah.
That's one of in my opinion, that's one of the best paranormal based movies that came out in a long time when that movie came out.
Okay.
Because also then we got a lot of stories from those guys.
Yeah.
What are they?
Three Conjurings.
my God, what is the
Annabelle.
couple?
Warrens? No.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That couple, because they do the Conjuring, they do the Annabelle, they do the Insidious. Are they Insidious?
Are you talking about the Nun? Is that them?
It's from the same company, but it's not the same type of
Insidious.
movie.
No, but isn't the couple in there?
Patrick, no, just the guy, the actor is, but he's not the same.
Oh, I
person.
see. So that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
but yeah, the Conjuring, the Annabelle movies,
is the Nun?
Nun, I think is
from The Conjuring.
Them. No, it is because they are talking about the nun story in one of the other.
Yo, that's
movies.
like a secret little cinematic universe that they set up, and they don't even really talk about it much.
Well,
but it's like a whole ass cinematic universe.
But also, that couple is a real couple.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where it's like, okay, like.
But also, it's baloney.
What is it?
It is.
You don't know.
Come on.
But do you remember when the first Paranormal Activity movie came out and they told everyone it was a documentary?
Yeah, that was.
And people were going to the theaters,
shitless.
and it was because they kind of Blair Witched you. You know what I mean? Like you thought Blair Witch was real.
No.
And it wasn't until the end of the movie when the credits are rolling that they're like, it's a movie.
Well, so they did the perfect example of, okay, why would you be filming if it's found footage still of ghosts? And they set it up to like, well, yeah, because he knows there's something going on.
He solved the problem.
He is setting it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That was
that's
very
why,
good.
that's the genius of it. Where Blair Witch, same thing, right? Like they're investigating the woods
They're
in
making
Maryland.
a documentary.
Right,
Like you
so-
have to have a reason to record where Cloverfield fucked up.
Towards the end, yes. Because
Yeah.
you're not going to be like, oh my God, what's this? Right? You're going to be,
You're
let's
gonna be
fucking
running for
run
your
away.
life,
Yeah.
yeah.
But what I mean,
Still a
like
great
the
movie, though.
paranormal, especially the first one. Like I do think I lean towards liking the second one a little bit more, but especially the first one, it's a slow burn.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
It's very, very well paced.
And I feel like that's
yeah.
some of these other movies, even these types of movies that we're talking about today, you get really into it really quickly. And then all of a sudden it's fucking madness. There's no like all of a sudden like, oh, I think that door moved a little bit.
This movie
they
flips
did
a
so
switch in
well
a
with
moment.
that.
Yeah.
Where like literally the first night that they filmed, all you see is and they're like
Right.
and then every few nights it's like a little bit more. And then all of a sudden they're like laying in bed and you hear like something like run across the floor and you're like, nope, burn the house down. And no,
leave.
but you know what they do? No, they don't do that. They pull out a Ouija board and they continue to film. And I'm like, no.
Now you deserve it.
When
Right,
that
right.
Ouija
You
board
summoned him.
catches on fire,
Yeah, that was dude. That was scary. I saw that in theaters. That was.
and you come home and the Ouija board just burnt, like the fire went out on its own, the Ouija board just burnt.
And you watch the footage back and you're
I
like,
wouldn't even watch. I'm not even kidding. I wouldn't even have watched
like
the footage.
immediately move.
I would have been like, this is
100%,
enough.
I need to know. I'm
Yeah, I
watching
would
that footage.
too.
And
I
then
would too.
Because
and
also-
whatever is
What would
going
you
to kill
do
me.
when you saw that it lit itself on fire?
I still wouldn't
The
believe.
rest of the house,
And then I would
fire.
keep filming. I just keep filming.
I might do the same thing.
I'd be like, no, there's got to be
I don't know what
some
it would
kind of
take for
explanation.
me to believe. I don't know what
So
it would take.
let's also like put the Ouija board part aside. When that guy comes back the second time and he walks into the house and immediately walks back out and he's
The
like,
priest, he's like, yeah.
I'm
even that
done.
wouldn't. Even a priest thing. You know what
I'm
would convince
fucking
me?
done.
See this empty chair right here? If that chair moved backwards and I saw the pad decompress because someone's sitting there,
Like there's weight in it.
and I could
Would you
have a
reach over?
conversation.
Would you reach
Oh yeah,
over?
I'd be like, "What's it?" Oh,
Like, and you felt cold air. If
yeah.
if you experience all those things at the same time, would you be like,
For sure.
Ghost? There's definitely a ghost.
And
right
you know
here.
what I would do? Hey man, what's up? Let's be friends.
No,
Let's haunt people together. Because what's he here for? Either to kill me or do something else. So let's do it together and be friends.
You'd be like on Frighteners.
Yeah. Judge.
but I do. I like I like the horror movies,
Damn it, I love that.
the gory movies. They don't scare me.
Well, I
But
don't
I
think
like
gore.
those
Gore's not
movies.
to scare. Gore is just
Those are
to
more.
creep
They're more
you out and,
suspenseful. They're more like dramatic. Like those movies, like the Hills Have Eyes style movies. They creep me out. I get uncomfortable watching them, but I'm not scared of them.
Well, I think those are supposed to be uncomfortable, like Texas Chainsaw and stuff like that. You're just
The-
scared
Texas
of the,
Chainsaw
yeah.
scared the shit out of me though.
Which, like the original or the remake?
The original Texas Chainsaw
was more creepy.
Was the first. So you grow up and you're not scared of horror anymore, right?
And then you watch that. And
Texas
you're like,
Chainsaw was the first one to scare me in probably a decade. I didn't see it until like 3-4 years ago, and it scared the shit. Again, though, real people, that shit could happen.
right.
This
It's
is what
not
I'm saying.
supernatural. It's not anything that
It's
you
just
can't
a
believe.
dude who's
But I think
terrifying.
that's why like it's opposite to me. Like the movies where like I could see that happening. I'm always mentally prepared for those, just because that's the way I have anxiety. I do, whether
Ready
it's
to
caused
go.
by something else or whether I'm just
Sure.
a paranoid person. If I'm camping in the woods somewhere, there's no way I'm not on alert the whole time that I'm out there. Because in my mind, those movies, that could happen. There could be someone who lives in these woods that just gets their jollies off of either killing people or just fucking with them.
I absolutely believe that. Like, and it's
but
like
the
some dude that like nobody
paranormal
knows
ones,
about.
like I said, it's the unseen, it's the unknown that creeps me out more than anything.
I'm gonna say it one more time. Watch Barbarian.
Listen, I'm going to.
But I haven't either. It's been on my list. I'll watch it.
When the first time you told me to watch it, you specifically said to me, but you have to watch it at night by yourself. I immediately knew, no.
Never watching it.
No. When you said that to me, I was like, okay, so I'm going to watch it in the day. And when Carrick is in the next room and the dogs are on the couch with me, like I'm going to have...
It's got to be by yourself.
That's what it is.
While
the
it's
second
raining.
one involved the dogs. The second paranormal activity, they had the German Shepherd or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it was picking up on things like the kid was.
Oh, yeah,
I like when they do that, when dogs always... Like, that's like a rule of horror movies. Dogs know what's up with the ghosts.
But I don't like...
When that dog goes,
when you kill...
I'm getting the fuck out of here, so we should get the fuck out of here.
Follow your dog.
I trust dogs more than people.
Man's best friend.
If my dog starts barking at a wall...
If this dog gets up right now and's like... staring at something,
or like growls
at
nothing.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Sometimes my cat stares at like random corners in the house, and every single time I'm like, "There's something there."
Okay.
Or what's going through that cat's brain, right? Like
either way, it's not good for me.
Last thing,
complex
and then,
equations.
Last thing, and then we'll move on because this is what I was starting to say before I got into like the types of things that freak me out or don't. So we were living at my parents' house at this point because it was when we had lived in West Virginia for a little bit.
West Virginia.
When we moved back, we were selling our house in West Virginia, so we had to stay like with family for a little bit in between houses.
Country road.
So we're staying in what at my parents' house is considered like a bonus room.
Sorry.
It was nobody's bedroom. It was just an extra room. When we were growing up,
West Virginia.
It didn't even have a bed or anything. It was like the playroom. Like when we were younger, it was like we had our toys in there, we had the movies, TV, blah blah blah. It became a guest room, so we moved into that.
Okay.
It's over the garage. It's a good size room.
Yeah, like a typical bonus room. Like
We moved back to West Virginia in May, or moved back to my parents' house in May of 2015. My uncle passed away in January of 2015. So like not long before we moved back home. We moved back home and we had been there for maybe like 2 months at this point. And my dog Cooper, because the only one we had at the time.
Good old Cooper.
We have 2 windows over the garage, so they're almost like little cubbies in that room. Like there's a wall in between them, and there's kind of like little cubbies to the window.
Okay.
He's like sitting on my lap. We're like watching TV, and he stands up facing one of those cubbies, and is just not whining, not growling, like aggressively, like there's another dog there he wants to kill. Like that's like stands up and is like at this, and I'm like
hackles and everything,
and I'm just like touching him like it's okay. Like let's sit down. And then he lays back down. But even when there are like somebody knocks on the door and he makes those sounds, even when he lays back down, he does like these little growls. Like I just need to like make sure.
Still got that anxiety.
If there's someone there, so he does that same thing. Like he lays down, but he's laying down like on my legs, and he's facing that window, and is just like in his throat, just these little like a few days later, we're in bed, all the lights are off. The touch lamp next to our bed turns on, and those are notorious for having electrical like shorts.
And
so in my mind, I'm like,
landed on it.
Huh?
A fly.
In my mind, I'm like, okay, whatever. So the light comes on, Carrick like taps it the 3 times or whatever for it to go back off. It comes on, the computer comes on, then the fire alarm starts going off. The fire alarm in our bedroom starts going off. And I was like,
that would be enough to creep me the shit.
And like Carrick is laying right next to me, but my parents' room is like on the other side of the upstairs. And I couldn't even help myself. I'm laying next to Carrick, and as soon as the last thing happens, the fire alarm, I just go, Dad!
Man.
And
Daddy, please help me.
He even, like, him and Carrick went downstairs to look like in the garage because they were like, is something on fire in the garage that would have like, you know, like something smoking,
it's some sort of weird
something electrical that would have caused multiple things, and nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. They turn the fire alarm off. We turn the lamp off. We turn the computer goes back to sleep. Never happens again.
Well, there could be.
It was again. Very strange series of events that a few days later, Cooper's freaking out by something, and then all those things, and then we can't figure out why. I'm sure there's some sort of
kind of maybe a
electrical
magnetic,
something like
a little.
But it was the
surge
fact
of
that it was
electricity.
all three of those things that night decide to flip out.
That would definitely be enough to make me like be like, hang on. I would get the spoopies for a
because
little while.
it wasn't like the fire alarm started beeping like when a battery dies. It went off like it full on like
something must have interrupted the little. Typically, it's like a little beam of light in there.
Sure, yeah.
You know, something must have interrupted that. All right, here's my theory.
Let's hear it.
Something popped inside the computer. Not something critical. A little bit of blue magic smoke, electronic smoke pops up. Just makes it right there just in time. Probably the same thing popped it that caused the lamp to do its thing.
What probably was happening, there was a little extra juice getting to that circuit in your house, and it found its way to the light first, turning it on because it was giving it more than it needed. Then it found its way to the computer, turning it on, and then doing what you said, maybe even electrical to the fire detector because mine are hardwired in, or what you said did something else and then it smelled.
Again, I'm sure Carrick and Dad had no other thoughts other than something tripped. Or
I'm sure he's like,
no
I don't fucking know. Let's go back to sleep.
Because they are not, those people.
Right.
But
that's fun though. Yeah.
We get back. Everything's turned back off, and I'm laying there, and Carrick is probably snoring within 5 minutes, and I'm just like,
well, I can't go to sleep for a week.
Yeah. That would definitely
I'm just
give
laying
you
there
the
like. My mom had dreams like around the same time frame where like she was asleep. She was not, well, I assume she was asleep. She says it was a dream where like my uncle was sitting in the chair like in the corner of their room.
Yeah.
And he gets up and starts walking and she said as he starts walking around the room to like more closer to where she lays, where their bedroom door is, he starts like fading out. Ew. Like, like getting just lighter, like a ghost like fades out.
Wow.
And then she like woke up, but she said it was so weird because he was
right there.
Like it felt so like he was right there.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing. I've had dreams of buying musical equipment that I felt was real.
That really exists. Yeah. I mean, I've had dreams where like I was eating a donut and I woke up and I could have not had a bigger craving for a donut. Like I had just had one.
Right.
Like I could taste it.
Yeah, that's a wild feeling. Dreams can seem super real.
I had a dream a demon was sitting on my back and I was trying to yell to Carrick in the kitchen, and like it was like on like I could feel it
paralysis?
Here. Huh?
You have sleep paralysis?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I could feel it like right here. And I was trying to yell for Carrick, and at the same time I was trying to yell, it let out this like this at the same time I was trying to yell. Ugh. And when I woke up, I couldn't
move.
I couldn't move.
That's scary.
And I was like, when I woke up, I was like panicking.
It's wild what your brain can do to you.
I scooted all the way, touching Carrick, because this is in our current house now, but it was a couple years ago. I scooted all the way up next to Carrick, called my other dog over to the other side of me, and I uncomfortably pinned myself in between the two of them.
I don't like that.
And I was like,
hey.
I was like, I'm not going to be able to. There's no way I could. Because when you have, well, maybe it doesn't bother you guys as much, but if you have a very realistic bad dream, it's hard to fall back asleep because you don't want to fall back into it. Yeah. You try to think of other things. You try to focus on other things.
I have the opposite. When I have a good dream and I get woken up, I'm
I've
like,
had that as well.
Let me get back into it. Can't get into it. With the bad dream, right back into it.
Right back in.
Yeah. Exact same.
Right back in. Because that's what was happening. I was trying to think of anything else, and faces of like creepy shit just kept like popping in. I'm like, no, go away. Stop.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
I usually watch fucking Rugrats or something when that happens to me.
I wish I should have just gone out into the living room, turned the TV on. But I literally,
Angelica.
like, it was like... It was like it felt like something was sitting on me, like when I went to get up, just like it was in my dream. So it probably was just a temporary, sleep paralysis,
I
from
sleep paralysis
anxiety,
frequently.
Just from anxiety or something.
That's what it feels like.
So what a wild, crazy adventure we just went on.
Yeah.
Ghost stories and everything.
I've never opened a book or listened to a record of, sermons and stuff, but
of priests.
Yeah.
Speaking of that. Evil Dead Rise, we're here to talk about.
We're here to kick off spoopy season.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like it was all relevant.
Oh, no, we're in it. And I mean, to be fair, back when George was on the Decision Reel, we would go on some very long tangents.
Oh, we don't do that anymore?
Well,
you brought me back, man. I don't know if I can stop.
No. We go on tangents, but we normally don't go on super long ones.
We try to
mask it. Or when Wally's here, he somehow's like, and he gets back at
the movie.
Yeah. He's like, I'm trying to go home. and then ends up fucking hanging out 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Whatever. So yeah, Evil Dead Rise is rated R for strong, bloody horror violence and gore with some language.
Yeah, there's a little blood.
Yeah,
a little.
There's language. There's blood.
A little blood.
There's all that. Yeah.
I would say there's a lot of blood in this movie.
There's a lot of blood in this movie. Not as much as Evil Dead 2013, but
No, but it does.
It rained blood.
I
It
was
was the
gonna-
bloodiest movie ever made.
Yeah, but it rains blood in the parking garage
And
because
they fill up an
shoots it
entire
out.
elevator with blood.
with blood.
That's true. That might have been more. That was a lot.
we
I'm
might,
sure you can find those.
we might
statistics.
have in Steve's fun facts of the week
Oh boy,
the
I can't
statistics
wait.
of
I
how many
can't wait.
gallons of fucking blood there is.
I gotta tell you,
It looks-
that is my favorite segment of the
Oh, okay.
decision reel.
It
Cool.
looked thick as fuck too. Like
it
I mean,
was-
that
it was-
that was good blood. I feel like.
It looked better than the raining blood. The raining blood looked too watery. You know. It was
yeah.
just-
But
And
also,
almost,
I feel
kind of had
almost
did
to.
it
too
more than
red
anything,
too. It
yeah.
almost looked like too like.
yeah.
The imagery of it is great, but
Yeah.
in theory, you're right. You want it to be viscous and
And darker. Like blood is
Yeah.
not light
No.
red. It's like deep red.
Yeah.
deep. It's almost like a nice Merlot, if you will. Sorry, I just went to a wine
It's
fest.
That, no, it's that deep. If
I'm
it's
joking.
that deep, we should probably.
There's a problem there.
There's
You might have
concern.
some. Yeah.
There's cause for concern.
This is starring Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie, Lily Sullivan as Beth, Gabrielle Eccles as Bridget, Morgan Davies as Danny, Nell Fisher as Cassie, and Bruce Campbell is in this movie. Does anybody know where?
I know exactly where.
First, do you know where? Well, you don't care because you've never seen anything
right, I
with
don't
Bruce
care.
Campbell.
I
So,
don't care.
do you care?
I don't care.
Okay, I thought you were being facetious when
No.
I cut you off. Where?
And in the nicest way possible. Like I'm excited for you to answer it, but I'm not. I don't care to guess.
Okay.
Is what I mean.
He's on the record.
Yeah.
He's the priest on the record. What does he say exactly? Like, must not read from the book.
Something
Something
you
like
mustn't
that.
read from the book.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which also I feel like put that on the book. Like because
They did that in
who's gonna
2013 though, and it didn't
and he
stop
still
him.
did it. He
Yeah.
still
So it
fucking
doesn't
did
matter.
it.
He had to like
Oh my
decipher
god,
it. Yo.
you're
Hold
so
on.
right. I completely forgot about that part. It
Hold on.
actually says do not do it, and that
Don't
kid was
say
like,
it. Don't
I'm
read it.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, this book was in a room with how many rosaries and things hanging from the ceiling in a tomb. That's
literally,
not
you
enough
couldn't get to
read.
it.
Yeah.
You literally couldn't get to it unless a hole
You
developed
had
in
to
the
open
ground.
it with your blood. It didn't open until it bled.
Well,
Somebody
bit-
bled
bit-
on it.
Bit him, maybe? I don't know. Yeah.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Also, those teeth were gross.
Dude,
That's-
who would touch that thing? If that was at a Halloween store, I still would probably be like, I know it's fake and that's gross.
I mean,
It's Creep
Look,
City. It's Creep City.
I would go in that hole.
No.
I know you fucking
I
would.
would look
I
for
fucking
like,
believe you.
dude, I'd be like, man, this is so tight. Like,
You
look at
totally
all
would
this
bring
stuff.
that thing out and be like, and show everybody.
I
And you
would.
would be fucking,
I'd be like-
you would be Eric in 2013 who
Yeah.
just like deciphers every fucking word and tries to read
But I
it.
wouldn't read it out loud because I've seen these movies and I know what happens.
Mm.
But that's
Or maybe I would just
that
see what
was
happens.
worse. The first
think
one
you
was
might.
worse because that it said do
Got you.
not, and then he out loud read it himself. This one,
You almost like
that
blame
kid
him.
innocently put that record on. He doesn't know that guy's about to read some shit like an incantation. Like he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And also,
This guy read it his fucking self.
if he
in the first
wasn't
movie.
if he wasn't a DJ having fun, would he have known to have a record to put on and then go, well, it doesn't sound right. What if I play it backwards?
No, I would have been like, oh, it's
Yeah.
probably it's so old, it's trash, and I would have thrown it away.
Yeah, that was sick. That was extremely well done.
Let's be real. This whole
You don't agree?
No, no,
Oh.
no. That wasn't. I don't agree.
Oh,
that was.
okay.
I wouldn't be doing.
Oh,
like,
okay,
that
okay.
that
I was
was
saying because what I was about to say was I think this whole movie is done very well.
Yeah.
Like there isn't a part of this movie where you're like, just get on with it or let's go. It's a brisk 97 minutes. It gets to the point.
Right
There's
in
a
the
little
pocket.
backstory there because you need it with the sisters, right?
You gotta develop empathy for the characters. You know?
Well, that
they
and
do
then
it quick too.
as soon as when the girl's like, well, this is my poking stick or whatever, I was like, all right.
Stephanie.
Yeah, Stephanie. I was like, I know what's happening with that.
Stephanie
But also,
is one of the best characters of this movie.
touche.
And I'm just
Touche.
gonna say that Stephanie was genius. That was, and I said nobody was in the room with me, but I said,
Said it
out loud
I know what's
at one
happening.
point when she brought up Stephanie the second time, and she was like, "It's okay, Stephanie will protect us." I said out loud, I was like, "She fucking better have a moment in this movie."
Oh yeah.
Stephanie better have, and it was like right after that. It was like right after.
Like a Chekhov's gun situation for sure.
I was like, she better have a bit. I was actually hoping she was going to be the weapon, like that took the thing out of the
Okay,
end.
yeah.
Like
Well,
that would
would've been cool,
That would
yeah.
have been the only thing that would have made it better.
Well, to me, I applaud this movie for having the balls that it did to kill those kids. Right?
Dude,
like,
yeah, I was not sure that was gonna happen. It made me worry for the little
Right,
girl.
right.
the
I
whole
did too.
time.
I was like, oh god,
I was like, they might
she's
do
not
it,
safe.
dude.
Like
but,
she's
but
not
also
safe.
that's the genius of it, right? Because if you have the ability to be like, all right, these kids are young, but not young enough that we can't just be like, guess what?
That
You're
girl
fucking
lost
dying.
her whole family.
Right.
Her entire immediate family.
So it makes you go, oh, shit, anything's on the table.
Yeah. I did believe that, yeah. I would say that this is the bleakest Evil Dead movie.
I made some notes.
Oh, yeah, it is. I mean, every other Evil Dead movie, take out 2013 for a second. They're not, I mean, yeah, they're horror movies, but they're comedy movies. You know what I mean?
I don't know about the first one. The first one I think was played pretty straight. I think any comedy is just the fact that they had no budget and they were all miserable.
Okay. But it wasn't, it's not a bleak movie where you're like, well, everything's fucked. I mean, okay, you could sit and think about the scene where he tries to drive away and it's fucking, you know, the road's gone and it's, okay, I'm fucked.
It's not just ominous and oppressive and bleak the whole time.
Right. And also it's just one dude with his friends going to a cabin and they all die and maybe he's going to die. Okay, cool. This movie, you have a family in which, you know, the sister comes back because she's having a hard time and, she's pregnant, right?
Yeah.
So she's coming back to like, hey, I need help with this and you're my sister who has 3 kids.
So y'all gonna get it from her.
Right. So there's so much undertones of like just you can tell they fucking hate each other, but at the same time like
they need each other.
They need each other.
Yeah.
But the other the young, I guess she's younger, the roadie chick. Oh, sorry, guitar tech. She would be the younger sister.
No, Rhodey's okay. They were calling her groupie.
That's right.
That's what she was getting mad at.
Anyways,
Which
you can
same,
tell like
not
she
because
doesn't
no.
feel the same way that the older sister feels about like, you know, hating her or like, yo, what the fuck? Like you only come around when we're needed, which she's doing, but also playing that into an Evil Dead movie is genius. You know, like the 2013 movie does it great too with the drug references of trying to get somebody sober finally, and this is the last time we're doing it. And oh well, look, you're having the same symptoms. It can't
Love
be
that she's
right.
the one that survives at the end.
I think
it's awesome.
There's a lot to say about that movie being literally just someone going through drug withdrawals, and that's her finally surviving it is what goes through.
Like she went through hell,
right, which is also genius.
Yeah.
So. This movie was released first at South by Southwest on March 15th, 2023 of this year. Look at that. Another movie that we're doing in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
Look at us. The full release, April 21st, 2023. And I did see this on April 21st. I went day one, baby.
I think I did too.
Yeah, I can't not. I mean, Evil Dead.
I saw it.
I'm a huge Evil Dead fan.
This weekend.
Oh, this is your first time watching?
My first time watching it.
Okay.
On I watched it. When did I text you? It was like Thursday because I left on Friday for a weekend away. Oh. That's why I watch it. Normally I watch it like the day of. Like normally I would have watched it today or would have watched it last night. Mm-hmm. But I was going away for the weekend and I just didn't know like how late I was going to get back Sunday or if I was going to be too tired or busy like laundry catching up and stuff.
Good idea.
So I watched it before the weekend.
Smart.
Nice. I'm going to do the box office that week unless you want to read your notes you had.
They weren't major notes. It was just there were small things that I wanted to remember to like bring up.
Okay.
And like one of them, which flows into, I actually did make Stephanie a note on here in general.
Nice.
But
just
before Stephanie came up,
yeah,
when that little girl it just shows her cut the doll's head off. My first instinct was throw the whole child away.
Yeah.
Like she's cutting doll's head.
She's already
also what happens at the end of the movie.
Well, they cut her head off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Whose head gets cut off?
The sister. Well, the monsters.
When they're all in the wood
like
chipper.
It doesn't.
No.
Oh, it is right at the end. Right at the end.
Because it's not.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
I also made note of the comment of those 2 boys that come to the door.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, we're watching the Freddy movies. And the little boy goes, even the bad ones. And he just goes, there are no bad ones.
Yeah.
And it was such like a simplistic thing.
It's true though. That's
and
how
then
that's
that
how
was,
everybody
like, the whole
thinks.
part in the movie, but it was just so funny because it was like, there are no bad ones.
Yeah.
Those are
like
Freddy
he was so offended
fans.
when he was like, even the bad ones.
Yeah.
And then this kind of goes hand in hand, but when the sister had already had the first they've got her in bed and they're like, she's dead.
Yeah.
Like, she died in the elevator and they're like, why does she look like that? Why, like, her eyes won't close. And they've got her in the bed in the bedroom. And that guy comes in and he's like praying.
Yeah.
And the girl's like, she wasn't religious. I, again, said out loud, I answered the movie and I was like, he's not praying for her.
Right.
Like he's praying for y'all at this point. Because he's looking at her and going, that's not right.
Say a few
and then when she's sitting there and the sister's like eyes open and she sits up, again out loud, and I made this exact note of what I said, would throw my sister out the window.
Yeah. Bye.
Immediately out the window, problem solved. Like, no, I don't care.
Right. Two things to
Apologize
that.
to Emily if she listens to this. Out the window.
Bye.
And I would expect the same. Throw me out the fucking window. Like, no.
Every horror movie that I watch, I like to think to myself, horror movies do not exist in these universes. So they don't know that they're in a horror movie.
Or at least like specific genres. I think that I have the same thoughts. I'm like, why don't they know about that? Like specifically zombies.
Like, how are they not more
just shoot 'em in
bothered
the
by
head by
this?
now.
Why are they not like thinking this through?
Second thing that I really liked about this movie is in that scene specifically, she starts reciting what she's reading, right? As she's dead.
Yeah, she's sitting there and the girl is,
But in the beginning of the movie, which is actually later in the movie, in the cabin, she's reading that book and the demon starts talking what she's reading.
Yeah.
So when you watch it in the actual order of the movie, that is the same demon, right? Because she gets possessed right there at the end.
Yeah.
So she's doing the same
that connection, but you're right. Because, I mean, comparing the different demons of the different Evil Dead movies, right?
Oh, the last one, or the 2013 one, that demon was hella vulgar. Like,
I think that they
hella like horny and vulgar also.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they did something really good with this movie. That they made this the most evil of the Evil Dead. This is the most unstoppable one, and they made it. They literally spelled it out to you. Because Evil Dead 2013, 3 rules to end the demon. Do you remember?
We gotta either light it on fire, cut its head off,
cut it in pieces,
cut it in pieces,
or
bury
live
it.
burial.
Yeah.
He specifically calls out on the record, I tried this.
Yep.
Burned all my friends. They danced in the flames. Yep. I tried chopping them to pieces. The pieces came after me. Like he literally tried everything.
Dude, how fucking
from the
creepy
book,
is that?
from the they're telling you in the movie these are not the same demons.
Right.
These ones you cannot stop.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So with that, I want the next movie to be the continuation of the story in the beginning because they're back at a cabin in the woods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's out. Because think about it, when it ends or when it shows the Evil Dead Rise logo, she's rising from the water.
And she's still there, but the 2 people that were in the cabin are gone. So like, she's got to go somewhere. She goes somewhere.
She got to go start some shit somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. So it's out. So you could either say that is the beginning of the 2013 movie because where does the Evil Dead, the thing come from, right? Like he reads it from the book, but it's still coming from the woods.
Mm-hmm.
But on that, based on like what we were just talking about, how like the guy says these are clearly 2 different.
They are. They're different books.
entities.
They're different books.
Like that is not the same.
Yeah, because that one can be stopped. I mean, he saves me his life. You know?
And
you're right.
Just
it works.
Even just like we just said, the personality of these demons, it was different.
Yeah. Yep.
Like they definitely acted different.
Yeah.
Top 10 that week. Number 10.
This is my favorite, actually.
I don't know if I can say this right, but it is a Japanese anime movie. Suzumi?
See, these are because I felt the same way 2 weeks ago when we did this. I'm always more excited when we're doing movies from like the early 2000s or 90s.
When you've seen like most of them.
I'm reminded of what those movies
the trailers and shit. Yeah.
Now these are movies I just saw were in the theaters. Like I've seen their trailers more recently. Like
beyond that, you'll know most of these. So number 9, Beau is Afraid.
Sure.
Oh yeah, the new Ari Aster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you see it?
Haven't yet. And you know what? I love Joaquin.
Yeah, me too. Like Ari Aster and Joaquin. I don't know why I'm not like, let's watch it. But something about it, I'm just like, I'll get to it.
I
same.
think it's on. I think it's on
probably Max or something.
Max and maybe Prime, but one of the like, it's a new release, so you have to pay for it or whatever. I think it's. I think I've seen it on 1 or 2 of the streaming things now.
Gotcha. Number 8, Renfield.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was the Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Is it Nicholas Hoult too? Is that his name?
I don't know.
I think it is. Yeah.
I know. I did not see it.
It's okay.
I haven't seen as many movies this year to be, in general, to be honest.
New movies,
like out in the theater. Yeah.
Sure.
My mom was really excited to see it. I think she was hoping that it would have similar energy to Dracula Dead and loving it, but
and it did not.
It didn't. It wasn't Mel Brooksy at all, huh?
No, I mean it had its moments. There's some funny parts to it, but it turned into almost like a superhero-esque movie at the end.
But was it comedy?
Yeah. I mean, it was a comedy not horror movie.
I do
mean,
feel like I like that guy.
Nicholas Hoult.
Holt.
Yeah. He did okay in it. It was just really weird because he's playing Dracula's assistant.
Yeah.
And he can eat bugs that gives him superpowers.
I do feel like that movie's been done, though.
What?
Yeah,
the whole
Renfield.
Dracula's assistant thing.
Well,
like
it's a book.
a few
Renfield.
times.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. It's worth watching. How about that?
Okay.
Spooky season's coming. Put it on your
Why not?
playlist.
Yeah.
Watch it. Number 7, The Pope's Exorcist. Are you seeing a trend here?
Yeah.
It's a spooky season
This
movie.
is April 21st.
Why?
Easter.
Okay.
What the hell does that have to do with
Jesus.
spoopiness?
That's why. Because we
Zombie
want.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, zombie Jesus. I mean, that's where he rose from the dead. So.
I guess I don't know.
I was just making shit up. It was around Easter though.
Yeah. Number 6, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Still,
That movie fucking rules.
I
Thank
still
you.
haven't
Watch it.
I know. So we started watching it on a night that we shouldn't have. Like we knew we were exhausted. We started it way late at night.
They were exhausted.
And so we didn't finish it. And now we just haven't had like a moment where both of us had the time to sit and read and watch it again.
Sure.
But I think if it doesn't happen soon, I'm just gonna continue myself.
It's
honestly.
tough. It's tough being a grown up and working out schedules and yeah.
Eventually, I'll probably just continue it myself.
Do it.
It rules. It fucking is awesome. It's funny as shit.
I heard.
We were definitely enjoying it. You know, at however long it was that we watched it for. But
20 minutes. Just. Yeah.
They did like they went to what's-a-majig's castle, whatever the fuck it was,
Sure.
to try to get his daughter back.
Yes.
We watched all that part.
So like 20 minutes.
We watched them lie, and they left, and the daughter was mad, all that stuff.
20 minutes.
It was probably 20, 30 minutes.
25 minutes. Cool. Number 5,
It felt like longer.
Air.
Air, AIR.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about the Air Jordans.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I was confused. I've seen that
That's
movie. It's
definitely-
pretty good.
Is it good?
I
That's
enjoyed it.
definitely out now, and
It's been out, yeah.
Carrick doesn't have an interest in watching it, so I think that's gonna movie one night. I'm just gonna, if I'm in the mood for something more.
That
serious.
movie, and there was the Owen Wilson playing Bob Ross. Bob Ross?
Yeah.
I don't think he's
Bob
playing
Ross.
Bob Ross. He's playing a pastiche because in this universe, another Bob Ross pastiche also exists, I believe.
Oh, okay.
The
Well, whatever that movie
title,
is.
the movie makes it look like it's Bob Ross, but if you actually read the description, it's
Okay.
not.
Interesting,
what you're
because it was like the Bob Ross movie. Like that's what people had as they were talking about.
So
it was
that
like the Bob
movie
Ross
and then the
movie.
Tetris
Maybe I'm
movie
tripping, but
came out all at the same time, and I want to watch all 3 of those, but I just
the
haven't
Tetris
watched
with
it.
Taron
Egerton.
That's on Apple Plus.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
So all those came out like the same time.
That one is saved too. I have that one saved too.
Something about all 3 of them. I'm like, I'll watch them. I just don't feel like it. Every time I look at them, I'm like, nah, something else.
yeah.
Number 4, John Wick Part 4.
Yeah, we saw that.
I heard there's a really, really good fight scene on like a stairwell or something that like goes on for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, so
I'm
that
just kind of with them now.
that's the only thing. We've always loved the John Wick, story. Like,
You're not a John Wick guy. right? It's kind of like Expendables to you, but just better. But still, it's like
I'm just not really big on action typically. Although I do like I like CQC because it makes me think of Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And I know that that's like what the action is. And I really liked Nobody.
Oh yeah, nobody.
Oh,
And,
we
it's
like-
the-
yeah,
and I
we
know
like
it's the
that one,
same
too.
like fight choreographer, same director. So
Remember the basics of CQC.
I will say I left feeling less satisfied with the last installment than like the other 3.
Okay.
But I think it was because, based on like all the things they had done in the other 3, they literally, it looked like they went into this one and they just went, we're just gonna fight the whole time.
Oh.
And it was from the time they started the actual like fighting, it never stopped. It never stopped because everybody was after him.
And it's a long movie, isn't it?
It's a long movie,
Ugh.
so
I don't know if I
everybody
could deal with it.
everybody was after him. Like there was a contract or something out, and everybody was trying to get him. So every time he got finished
There was another fight.
fighting something else, there would be like a lull of maybe like 3 minutes of him to get from one
Oof.
to like place, and then it was like fighting again. And by the end of it, I was like, I would have killed myself at this point. Like especially when you get to the stairs.
Ugh.
The
I don't wanna
amount
live anymore.
of
I'm fighting
that
too
he
much.
had done by this point, I wouldn't have been able to walk up those stairs, let alone keep fighting on them.
Yeah.
Like
That's why he's John Wick, though.
He got so close to the top, got knocked down at one point. I was like, no, that's where I quit.
God,
like there's no way I'm going back up those stairs.
Wild. Top 3. We're gonna give it to you in no particular order.
John Wick 4 was number 4. Cute.
You like that? And then you got to guess the order. So, in the top 3, there is Evil Dead Rise in its first week, obviously. There is Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, which is another spooky kind of movie, I guess. I
haven't seen that one either. What was the other? Wasn't there a movie, The Covenant, already? With the boys who, like, when they turned 18, they...
I thought that was a Skull something.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
There's The Covenant with the women. No, what am I thinking?
Are you thinking The Craft?
The Craft, I am.
The Craft.
The Craft rules.
But a coven is a group of witches.
Right, so same thing, yeah.
No, there was a covenant.
Same,
but different.
But still
same thing.
There was a covenant. It was like a group of boys, like the families they were a part of, they were all friends, and it was like when they would hit the age of 18, as they were getting close to 18, they would have random powers or whatever, and then at 18 they like ascended or whatever, and they became like
The Covenant.
It was like early 2000s.
That's not the same movie then, because this is 2020.
Well, no, it definitely is not. But that's
so
why
there's
I
Alien Covenant, which don't watch.
Whose is this?
There's you can have that if you want.
Just sitting, just
for real.
Yeah,
I've been eyeballing it this whole
warm.
time. I love these things.
It's not that bad, honestly.
Yeah, I love these.
Yeah, me too. The Covenant in 2013. That's definitely not what you're thinking of, because that's an Egyptian slavery through the eyes of Moses. The Covenant.
2006.
2006.
While you're searching, I want to briefly state my issue with the John Wick movies.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I remember. Yes.
How many fucking ways are there to shoot a dude?
A million.
I can tell you.
I'm not interested in 99.9%.
But I will say a lot of them. A lot of them, they're not just shooting people. I can tell you that. But like he's good at shooting, and these are skilled assassins, so there is shooting. But a lot of it is not. They're killing people.
And I know
in
he's
all
like
kinds
everything's
of ways.
like close, and that's all cool. I just
don't think
I'm that interested.
The cinematography of it is good.
The moment I checked out of John Wick is when him and Common were shooting at each other in a loaded mall of people, and no one knew. They're literally walking
they're all
pew, 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 under the fucking arm, and you're like...
I will say, I do think there is a level of... I don't want to say comedy, but there is a level, like with the people that are making this movie, there's a level of like...
believability.
I think that's why Nobody worked, because it leaned a little harder into the absurdity.
Yeah. That's a better word than comedy.
Yeah. Whereas John Wick, I think, tries to be taken a little too seriously. I don't think it succeeds, but I think it wants to be taken a little more seriously. I think that's my issue with those movies. To be fair, I've seen only the first one, and
you were like, that's enough,
and pieces of the rest, like YouTube clips and stuff.
I mean, I definitely understand killing people over a dog.
I understand killing people over a dog, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
And he just got that dog. That wasn't even a dog like that was like his like
coping dog. Like I get it. Like
his wife left him that dog or something, wasn't it? Like,
or he got the dog to deal with her death or something.
I thought didn't they just get it before she?
Doesn't matter. Any dog doesn't matter how you got it.
Either way, yeah. Straight street dog. I'll kill for this dog.
And I love that even the other people in the movie were like, wait,
you still got
wait.
Georgina?
It was
Georgia, my sweet baby. She just turned 2. Wow. Yep, just this weekend.
How big?
Not that big. She hit like 8 months and just was like, I'm gonna yellow lab, and she just stayed at like 8-month size yellow lab. It's weird because there's other 2-year-olds that like her yellow labs at her thing, and they're just like way bigger.
Maybe she's
almost double the size.
I want to be a lap dog.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm staying this.
She does.
Are they males?
I don't know.
Because a
other
male usually
dogs
will get
somebody
heftier.
else's. I don't know. Sure. I kind of want to get one of those doggy DNA boys done. So, she's probably something else.
My sister got one recently for her dog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some of them were ones that we assumed, and then some of them we were like, where does that come from?
It's mixed with not listening and doesn't obey.
I mean, yes, absolutely.
So we had Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise in its first week. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. And then Super Mario Brothers in its first week.
Okay, well.
What do we think it is? 1, 2, 3.
Okay, well,
Jeopardy theme. I hope we don't get demonetized for this.
You will.
Actually, we don't, because I put it in every one. We got a copyright strike for something 2 weeks ago. Oh, I didn't use the trailer for Oppenheimer. I used a behind-the-scenes something thing that they came out with. We got copyrighted for that. But they're like, it's okay. You can still use it. I was like, all right, fuck it.
Really?
Yeah.
How do I pull that off?
You got to use something that's approved to be used on YouTube. All right, what do you got, Tara? She's going number 1.
Evil.
Evil Dead. She's going number 2.
Mario.
And number 3.
Covenant.
The Covenant. George is going number 1.
Mario.
Number 2.
I said Evil Dead Rise, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Covenant.
And then number 3, you're going Covenant. It is number 1, Super Mario Brothers. That movie made
Listen,
That movie made like $1 billion in like 2 fucking weeks.
I just thought maybe because of Evil Dead Rise, because I remember Evil Dead Rise being a big.
A lot of
thing.
people went to see it that I didn't think was going to go see it.
And I thought maybe Mario could have been like a slower build, maybe.
Sure.
Because I also know a lot of people that waited because they wanted to hear about it.
Oh
first,
yeah,
you know?
You're right.
Like, so but Evil Dead, I would expect more people to rush to see it.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought
it's got like an established
maybe.
fan base. You know.
Touche. I'm looking up real quick.
Well, what was it?
It was what you
Mario
said.
first.
Oh, I was right. It was
yeah.
Covenant
and then
third.
Evil Dead,
Yep.
and then
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just looking up what the overall Evil Dead in 2013 made overall. Okay. I just want to know.
The last one.
I just want to know if this made more or not. Because guess what we're at? We're gonna guess the budget now.
All right.
What do we think it costs to make Evil Dead Rise?
Rewriting.
I haven't done budget in a while, so I'm like my frame of reference is kind of whack. So
yeah.
you know, I'm probably not gonna have a good answer.
That's all good.
Are we writing?
You can write it. Yeah, go ahead. What do you think it is? Because you don't want to, give anybody any ideas of what it could be. And if you want to, you can write down what you think it made overall in its box office run as well at the same time. That way we can just boom, right? Just do it. I should have done the Jeopardy theme for this too, but we're already in it. Do 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 do. Boop 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 boop.
So we're doing both budget and box office?
Yes. You got to use your brain. Think about the numbers, crunching them, equations. X plus Y equals MX plus B. Was that it? No, what was it?
I don't know.
She just completely reset. Oh, man.
She
heard the
Y equals MX plus B.
That's it.
Cross it out, so.
Y equals MX plus B. I don't remember what that is.
It's got to be algebra. It's algebra.
Well, it's definitely algebra.
Well,
but
you need to know what Y is to then use it. Yeah. All right,
I
Tara.
feel like this type of movie in this year, I just really don't know. You know what I mean? I feel like
Can we show
I'm
them?
gonna
We
be
should show them to
off.
the camera, shouldn't we?
Yeah, you can.
That'd
if
be
you
fun,
want.
right?
So budget. What did we guess? George guessed $50 million.
Uh-huh.
Tara guessed $20 million. Steve
Oh,
guessed.
shit.
I'm guessing now. I write these down
guess.
before I look it up. I guessed $15 million.
Mm-hmm.
The actual budget was $19 million.
Dang, you know what? I wrote down 20 at first, and I erased it and put 50.
She did 20.
Yeah, because I know horror is always low
I
budget.
actually thought I might have been high with 20. That's what I erased.
Well, think
first.
about it. I mean, they're in like 2 places in this movie.
That's
There's
what I
not a
erased
lot of
first. I actually
crazy
wrote more
shit.
closer to you. I wrote like 16, and then I was like, I'll give it a little bit more.
You know what made me put more? More CGI than any other Evil Dead.
You're right. You're right.
That's what made me
definitely-
crank it up, because that's very expensive.
Yeah. The one thing that made me think they either ran out of money or they got it cheap-oed was towards the end, the monster. You don't really see it a lot, and when you do see it, you're like, oh, they could have done that a little better. Like, I wasn't let down by it.
I have thoughts about the monster. I'll talk about it.
All right. So, overall box office, what do we think it made in theaters?
I'm changing my answer.
Oh, no. You already locked it in.
Now I feel like I want to too.
I haven't locked shit in.
If you want to do-over, you can do-over. But I want to know what that original number was. You don't got to say it right now, but you can say it after I
I'll
say
tell
it.
you what it was.
Okay.
If it's,
I'm not gonna change it that much.
I'm just gonna.
actually.
Yeah, I'm just doing it a little bit. I'm just doing it a little bit.
Mine's a slight tweak.
I don't know
rather than
why. I just.
now that I know
Let's
that
tweak it.
it's fair after you know once you know the.
Well, and we
budget
normally do.
to-
We normally do. So
Yeah,
I just kind of roped it in together because we had to ghost stories that went a little long. It's fine. Overall box office, you guessed 200 mil,
I did.
and Tara guessed 150 million.
Were you at 200 before?
No, I was a little less than this. Actually,
Okay.
I bumped it a little.
What'd you have?
I had 140 before.
140.
I was at 250, and I took it down to 200.
And I didn't like the sound of 140, so I changed
Quarter billion
it
just
to
seemed like a lot to
150.
me.
I guessed 65 million.
Oh, you went low.
At opening at number 2, huh?
sometimes these fall off. I don't remember a lot of people talking about it once it hit theaters. I just remember a big buzz before it hit theaters.
Yeah.
And then it was like, hey, 3 weeks later, it's on HBO Max.
See, mine was
You're
the
not wrong.
opposite. I didn't really know much about it coming out. I didn't start hearing about it until like it was coming out already.
Probably until I went, hey, we're going
Like
to see Evil
I started seeing posts on Facebook and on Instagram and stuff once it was already out. So that's why I was like, oh, okay.
Opening weekend, it made $24.5 million.
Made its money back on opening weekend.
That's great.
Overall, it made $146.7 million.
Very good. Very good.
Look at
Great
you.
job.
Man, if I had only done 145, I would have been.
Yeah.
All right on and on there again.
Because if I fell, because I did 140 and then 150, I should have like.
That's enough for a
Split the
sequel, I'll tell you that.
So Evil Dead 2013 made $97.5 million.
Wow.
That's a huge jump. That's weird for a franchise that sat dormant for a fucking decade.
Yeah, I mean that's an increase by almost
Didn't
60
sit
million.
dormant. We had the series, right? I mean, that could have helped it.
Do you remember
I feel
what
like the
the,
only
what
people who watch the
it
series
budget
are like
was?
super fans.
You're right.
Do you remember what the budget was? The first one, or did it have
Find
it?
out.
Is it on there?
17.
So not much different in cost making it.
No, and that opening weekend was 25.7, so
So
pretty much
opening weekend
almost
about
the
the
same.
same,
That
but-
actually made more by like $1 million.
Wow.
Both considered very successful, I think, for as far as horror movie
Oh, yeah.
standards.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Sure.
yeah, everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. Speaking of happy, it's George's second favorite time. The Rotten Tomato score, or as he would say,
Oh,
The tomatometer.
the tomatometer.
I'm not even gonna lie.
The Roddy
I
tease.
gave this part no thought for some reason. I don't
No
know why.
thought.
I know. Even when I was watching it, I didn't give it much thought.
All right.
I don't know why.
I mean, that's not a bad thing. 'Cause
But
you're
I
coming
feel
in
like
fresh.
usually I do. I feel like usually like maybe it's because I didn't watch it today. Maybe when I watch it the day of, I'm like
You're in it more.
I'm in pod mode already. You know?
I'm in the pad mode, getting the pads going.
Okay, let me think.
What she's thinking. I do want to say another movie in this same genre, made not by the same people, but sort of. Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell, which came out 2009, so really close to the first Evil Dead.
Yeah.
The budget of that was $30 million. Its overall gross was 90.
Is
Still a
drag?
success.
Which one is?
Justin Long's in it.
There are a couple movies that I feel like get me like they're similar and I get mixed up with them. So which one is?
Drag Me
Spit on
to-
your grave. Drag me to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Drag Me to Hell, there was a blonde girl in it where she basically gets cursed because she's working at a bank and this old lady comes in to like get her money out or something.
She's
I can't
trying
remember.
to, get a loan or some shit.
Yeah, and she denies her, so she puts a hex on her, and then she ends up like the whole movie trying to figure out that it's real because she's being like not haunted, but like there's demons trying to get her.
Yeah.
And then-
spooky shit.
Spoilers, she eventually goes to hell.
Yeah. And it's fucking
It's
savage.
yeah.
Yeah. Cause, that movie had a good payoff.
I feel like
Yeah.
I did see this, but like
Justin Long's
it's
in it.
been, a minute. So I'm.
It's one of those movies where
I do
you're
like
like,
Justin
oh,
Long.
there's no way like it's gonna be a bad ending or like the evil's gonna
Sometimes
win.
I like when that happens.
Oh, dude,
it feels wrapped up real nice. You're like, oh, nice little happy ending.
Which one was the one?
They pull that rug right out from under you.
Which one was the one? Maybe it was Let Me
Spoiler
In, but it was
alert.
another one of those like short 3-word.
Let Me
where,
In
like,
was
you had
the
to have
vampire.
Yeah, let me in. Yeah.
Okay. What was the one where like you had to give the you had to like have sex with them and give it to someone else.
It follows.
Yeah, it follows rules.
But you know what I mean? All those names are kind of
Sure,
like
yeah.
I like that movie. The whole idea of it being not about the demon, it's sexual, whatever. Like
Well,
no
because
matter
it-
what you do, it's following you. Like,
Yeah.
it's
but it's
genius.
also that inner conflict because
right.
you don't want to give it to someone else, but at the same time you don't want to have to keep it either.
I just read a really good analysis of it, actually. Nutshell version
It
is
follows,
people
right? That's what you
always
said?
people always say that it's about like an STD, the things in STD
Sure.
and it's spreading, but that's
No,
not
no,
what it
it's
is.
like sexuality.
It's
and,
trauma.
Oh.
It's the thing you always hear: hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
They were hurt, so now they have, like, emotionally they feel like they have to
emotional
pass
damage. Yeah. Sorry.
the trauma on because that
To
is super
heal from
common.
it,
or they're just fucked up
or
now.
cope with it or
so
whatever.
yeah, so they in turn like abused people often become abusers. And that's
Sure,
pretty much
yeah.
exactly what the movie's about, you know?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So tomatometer, what are we giving critics and audience score out of 100%?
Am I writing?
You can write if you want, or you can say it. It don't matter.
I just don't know. So
We'll bring back Ken Jennings now. or is it?
We said critics and audience, so we need two.
Yeah, out of
So we're
100%.
gonna do both. Okay. I just don't know because I don't really feel like critics are usually like nice to horror movies, but
Are they though?
I don't know. It's hit or miss.
Ha! For anybody out there who doesn't get that, I'm in a band called Hit or Miss. Dun, dun. So George has got it locked in. We'll go to George first.
Yeah, okay.
Critic score, he's going 85. It's a big number. Steve guessed 60. Tara guessed 60. Critic score is an 84.
Whoa!
Oh, look at you. Close.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Audience score, George gave it an 80. Steve gave it an 80. Tara gave it a 73. Audience score is a 76.
Wow! All right.
I'm surprised by the critic
me
score,
too.
to be honest with you.
Well, break
Not
it-
necessarily the audience one, because
Yeah,
I feel like that
to me,
makes
that's
more
fine.
sense.
I was following this one closely when it came out, so I might have subconsciously kind of aggregated that in my, in my head.
That makes sense. IMDb score 6.6. I think that's a little low.
Well,
for
especially
this.
compared to what we just read for the.
That's what I'm saying. Like
That doesn't even make sense.
critically, well, maybe they wanted it to be 666, right? 6.6.
All right, I'm with it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But
allow
I mean, critically, what is there to not like about this movie?
Yeah. I mean, it's well paced. It's yeah.
The story's tight. Like, you could say maybe there's one effect that you're like on. Like when the monster's finally revealed, you're like, But beyond that,
I mean, if they show too much of the monster, people complain too. So
exactly.
I didn't really like the drone part, to be honest with you.
when she just grabs it and she's
When
like,
she does it herself, because I also feel like that.
dates the movie if we look at this like 20 years from now. Yeah.
I also feel like that drone was aggressive, like more aggressive than any other.
yeah,
drone
I
that
don't know.
That looked like a custom drone.
Is the drone really
Yeah.
going to be slicing your fucking face off?
I mean,
like
I don't
that?
feel like
I'm
my.
scared of
I don't
drones
feel
if
like the
that's
ones
true.
we have are that like the one Carrick and I have, or
So
the one my parents have.
Those have
is
it
that
where if it hits anything, the
it
propeller just stops.
So
Yeah.
that okay,
So he probably had like a custom like
because that's what I was gonna say. I
Whatever.
almost
I don't
wrote
have to do leaps of logic to believe it.
one of my notes that I wrote was aggressive drone. That's all I
Aggressive
said. That's what I called it.
I also felt that like. However, if that is like one of the weakest parts of the movie, damn good movie.
You're right.
But
yeah.
because also it was weird to
We're
me that
nitpicking.
like she takes the drone to cut herself to fall in the lake just for him to try to save her and then for him to kill him.
I feel
in the
like, hold on, they
water?
had a great
'Cause, like,
idea with the rising out of the water, and they're like, well, how do we do that?
How do we get her in the water?
Right.
I mean,
Like,
she could have just
Jumped in the water. and
jumped in the
killed him,
water, done one of those things where she like pretends she's drowning, and like that's how she's.
Well, hold
There's a
on.
million ways.
Because
she could have got in the
also,
water.
again,
that would have been better.
Similar to earlier when I said like I'd throw my sister out the window. I'm pretty sure if my friend looked at me like that girl did and grabbed a drone and cut herself with it
After she
I would
scalped
not
you?
be jumping in the water to save her. I feel like.
Yeah, I'd be like something's wrong.
I
with
feel like
them.
in my
I don't
mind,
know.
I'm like, she's dead.
I don't know though, because I
Fine,
feel like my
it's
friend
fine.
would be. I feel like no. I think I would. Because
Cabin
I'd be like my
fever,
friend
man,
is.
what?
I'd be like my friend is having a psychotic episode. Like they need me now more than ever. Like I think I would do it and save.
But I also feel like she
So
wasn't
obviously you guys are different.
when she fell in the water and she
Fuck that, I'm out.
she also ripped
ghosts.
like you said, she ripped that girl's scalp off
Like
and stuff too.
Without
and then
even a-
comes down and she
just
grabs
with a wrist.
the
yeah,
drone.
I don't. If I saw the scalp ripping thing, I don't know if I'd feel safe going in.
and she
after.
looks right at him and is just like and like
So
cuts herself with this drone.
I think there's like a check box of okay, what we need to do here.
and
Every
she
Deadite,
doesn't flail or anything after falling in. So I think my mind would immediately have been like, okay, well she's dead.
she did. Every Deadite has to harm themselves first. Think about it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They fucked themselves up. So I feel like it was like, okay, what do we do here? We're on a dock. Can't you just rip some board out and punch yourself? I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to
She could've
go
brought a
do
fucking
something
piece of
different.
glass with her or something. Who knows?
Yeah, but again, maybe they're trying to do something different that
How did
no
the
one's
sister
seen.
do it? Why am I blanking on
Oh,
her hurting
she,
herself?
she was like eating glass. She was like eating a wine glass.
No, that was. I'm sorry. I meant
The
the
original?
older sister, the
2013?
mom. No, I'm talking. Sorry, I meant in this one,
Ellie.
the mom. Sorry, when I said sister, I meant the sister of the other adult. But
Okay, yeah.
So
How
she
did
gets
she
a,
hurt
our
herself?
primary demon, one could say.
how did she hurt herself?
well, doesn't she make a weird like breaks her own? No, she breaks her own arm in the thing. She gets whatever.
I'm thinking she's in the tub, but she doesn't really hurt herself in there. I
no,
don't think she
she
really
gets
does
out,
anything in
she starts-
particular.
I don't remember her because it happened. The elevator thing happens. It gets her and it kind of like beats her the hell up
she
in the
throws
elevator.
up a bunch.
She does. She gets on the ground and she throws. But I don't remember her actually hurting herself.
Maybe she didn't. You know, maybe it's not a rule in this movie.
I mean, but also maybe so much happened. So like maybe she did to like irk them. Like watching their mom hurt them, but I don't remember.
I don't particularly remember anything. I mean, so when she would have done it would have been in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, and like earlier.
And she didn't do anything in the kitchen. I don't think she did. And maybe that's not the case in this.
Because she just randomly starts. What is it? She just randomly starts putting stuff on the pan cooking, or something, right?
Dropping eggs in, with the shells on. That was wild.
Yeah, The other daughter eating the glass that you brought up, that.
Oh, dude, when it starts poking out the neck, I'm like,
you know what? None of that got me in this.
It didn't get me. I was like, let's go.
None of the gore really got me in this. I thought the gore was better in 2013.
There's one thing that got me in this movie.
I actually think that might have been the only one that did.
Oh, look, there it is.
No! That might have been the only one that did, as she's like, and like you're hearing like the crunch and then you see it in her neck and stuff.
I wish it had like poked out and then slid down.
It did surprise me. It kind of just
poked and then poked.
And she swallows it.
Yeah,
it did surprise me. That's what I
like
thought.
Like when a fucking Dorito gets caught.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was going to happen. Because it surprised me that it came out and then just kind of like went back in.
So there's only one scene that made me go, it's a cheese grater scene.
Didn't get me at all. I was disappointed.
Or maybe it's not cheese grater. Yeah, it was a cheese grater. Yeah. I was just like,
I knew it was going to come up. It didn't get me at all. I was disappointed in it. I thought it looked like it had fucking lipstick on the other side and she just like wiped it on her.
It looked good. I think it's in this trailer. It looked good. I was like, ooh.
I wanted to see it. I wanted to see the skin on the inside.
Oh yeah,
like the fucking spaghetti skin. Yeah. That's what I wanted.
Is it in there?
I mean, it's in there somewhere. Oh look, now she's doing that.
There's the eggs.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-minute 30 fucking there. See, it's
yeah. Very good.
That's a cool cabin though. I would stay in that cabin.
I would too. That's definitely Airbnb. So while we're watching this, who was our favorite character in the movie?
Was there blood in those eggs just then?
Yeah, there was blood.
Did she do something?
Well, she was bleeding from getting fucked up, right? So it could have been from whatever.
Okay. Look.
Yep.
Favorite character?
Yep. Scalp. The scalp was your favorite character?
Yeah. I mean the sister. Our come get some girl. I forget her name.
The aunt.
Yeah, the aunt.
Beth.
Beth
Auntie
rules.
Yep, Beth. Yep.
She's my favorite.
Okay.
You only got like 5 characters to choose from.
You're right. I mean, and I kind of like it because it makes it a tight story too, right? Like, there's not. Look at every other Evil Dead movie. I mean, it's people just going to a cabin. There's 5-6 people there, right? One by one, they just eat it.
It was fun to add some of the other apartment members to this movie, though. You know, that was a new thing
and those guys.
She just ruined the whole floor.
Yeah, they got wiped out.
Like the one where you see the little boy, like the brothers, the younger one of the brother, and he just like gets thrown up against the wall, and his head is like they don't show her actually do it; they just show him like
flying. Yeah.
Like I said, this movie did not hold anything back. It just murdered everyone. And
oh my god! When it got close to her eye, that panicked me a little bit.
I thought it was a little tamer than 2013.
Yeah, you're right.
It didn't show it. Okay,
but it's still. Once I saw it, I remembered it, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah. My favorite character is the mom as the Deadite. Like her as an actor, acting
Incredible.
her ass off in this movie.
Incredible. Best Deadite ever on film.
So here's what I'll say. Probably favorite actor.
Okay.
In the movie.
Yeah.
Favorite character.
Sure.
I actually think I'm going to say the little girl.
Yeah, she was great.
Like
too.
I just think like
she did good.
Yeah.
Other than when she tried to let the mom in.
But I mean, can you blame her?
Yeah, I can.
And also that whole scene looking through the peephole is genius. Number one,
she looks so creepy, like in that view.
Is the question favorite character or is it favorite performance? Because obviously Alyssa's
favorite.
You know what? We haven't actually really thought about that, and we could change the question to favorite character and or performance,
because we do I feel like answer it that way a lot. Like sometimes I'll say like my favorite character like as their role in the movie, but we'll also comment on like, okay, but this person played their role.
Yeah, those are 2 different
insane.
questions. Like Alyssa Sutherland obviously is just the stand-up performance.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So favorite scene. There's it's funny like
you said the elevator with the blood was a big one for you. Didn't you?
I really like the elevator with the blood. Like at the end. Yeah, that was awesome. It's hard to say. There's a lot of really great scenes in this movie.
There is.
I do like when Stephanie gets her, her moment.
Yeah.
I like that.
And again, didn't see it coming.
I like the work that they did in the beginning to get you to feel empathy for the family. There's a scene when all three of the kids are basically cuddling in bed and all laughing, and how do you not just feel wow, what
my
a happy
favorite thing
family
about
together.
that is they were just arguing right before, and
Right.
then
And that's a
then
family.
it's like
And a broken family, right? So you have the sister coming in who's obviously doesn't keep tabs on them,
essentially.
and hey, where's your dad? I bought him this fucking gift, and they all look at each other and you immediately know well, he's not in the picture anymore, right? And
oh
that's
my god, when
good.
she's
so
like,
much.
why didn't you tell me? And she's like, I called you twice. I would have been like, okay, you're a fuckhead.
And then
are
you're
you
listening to the fucking message that she's listening to when she's dead, and she starts talking it out loud. Dude, that's so well done and creepy. And also, why wouldn't that demon do that at that point?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's great.
I also need to say though, I feel like that baby didn't make it. In my mind, I feel like
It got tussled
there's
around a little
no
bit.
way. The trauma that she physically and mentally went through, and how deep she put her hand into her stomach before that girl stopped her.
Yeah.
Come on.
Demon
that
baby.
baby is barely a baby yet. You're telling me it survived all of that?
Does she say how far along she was? I don't remember.
She had just taken the pregnancy test.
Right. So,
which means she had to have just had a sign that she was pregnant.
So at that point, it's
which means she probably just missed her period. She was probably late or something.
So I mean, there's not a lot of jiggling that's gonna mess that up.
But
sequel
from what they say though, it's most vulnerable in the beginning.
Sure.
So that's why I'm just I mean, she was getting thrown into walls and
You're right.
literally almost drowned in blood.
Well, it doesn't say anything at the end and they lived happily ever after
no, it
with
doesn't.
a baby.
It doesn't. But it was my own thought. As I was watching it, I was just like,
but
what
also,
the fuck? There's no way.
The whole story too is her becoming a mother.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. She becomes a mom anyways.
Right. And the kid even says, you'll make a great mom. Yo, all right, let's go. Fuck it.
She says,
that's
because
awesome.
you know how to lie or whatever.
You're good at lying to kids.
Yeah. Dude, you're right. Actually, that little girl,
I loved her.
She had a couple slips where I don't know if she's from the UK, but you could tell her voice changed a little bit sometimes where I was like, oh, that's an accent that wasn't there earlier.
It could also
was it that or was she? I'm sorry.
Was she from something else? Is that what you were going to say?
No.
I was going to say, because some little kids, they almost have I don't know if you'd fully consider a speech impediment.
Oh, sure.
But a lisp where they say their R's. They say their R's weird.
Aw.
And I think that's the R thing is a really common one.
Yeah,
so
on
maybe
Big
it was
Daddy.
more that.
Okay.
I think
Kangaroo song.
Kangaroo song.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I
when
think
I was
it's more
watching
because
it.
she was at that age. I feel like where that is, know, your voice is still kind of molding. It's still building things.
My favorite scene, just because of the look of it, is just that chick rising out of the water with it saying "Evil Dead Rise" behind it.
That was sick.
And like you said, the fucking sound in that theater, deafening, and then to nothing. And then you start the movie. For that to be the opening of the movie, I was expecting, and I'm not saying I was let down in any way, but I was expecting this movie to go so fucking hard right after that. But then it builds, right? And you're given that.
It gives you 25 minutes of.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it goes.
Yeah, it flips a switch after the elevator scene, and it's just fucking
Non-stop.
falls to the
It's
wall
non-stop.
after that.
I also, back on the little girl, when she comes over and she turns on that wood chipper or whatever it is, at that age, would you have thought to do that?
Badass.
I wouldn't. I don't think I
She
would have.
made-
I don't think I would have thought of that.
Hold on. She made Stephanie. She's in that world.
Oh,
She knows
yeah.
what a chipper is. That's going to chip
true.
some wood.
Bev tells her to turn it on, but she didn't tell her to walk over there. The little girl's over there, and she's got her hand on
Oh, you're
it.
right. You're right.
She thought of that.
She's ready. She's
herself.
ready for the cue. You're right.
She was.
Yeah.
She thought of it.
She's like, let's
herself.
fuck this thing up.
Right.
And I don't know if I'm not saying I wouldn't have been smart enough, maybe, but I don't think I would have been. I wouldn't have the gumption.
Just wouldn't even occur to me. Probably.
I would have been terrified. I would have been.
this.
Yeah, I would
But
have just
also,
been
to that kid, that's its mother and siblings morphed into one body. Let's fucking go. Let's
honestly, I'm with her on that because that's the same thought process that I was having when the sister sat up, and I was like, I don't give a shit that that's my sister.
Bye.
Out the window.
in the wood chip
Because
or whatever.
she's not my sister anymore. You have to that's no longer my sister. That's not her anymore.
I don't think I said my favorite scene, but I think I know what my favorite scene is now.
What is it?
It's when they're between the apartment and the elevator, and they're trying to get out, and all the zombies are just kind of like laughing at them and just fucking with
as they're
them.
like waking up and stuff.
Yeah, like that was one of the scariest things I've ever seen because they are trapped there. They are not safe
They're,
in
like,
the apartment
taunting
anymore.
them.
Don't they say,
the demons could kill them anytime they
Don't
want?
they say Dead by Dawn?
They do. They said you'll all be dead by dawn.
Oh yeah, she. Oh,
or
yeah, she
everyone
did,
here
yeah.
will be dead by dawn,
Everyone,
something
yeah.
like that.
And so that is the working title for The Evil Dead. The first movie was supposed to be called Dead by Dawn. And I believe it was released in other parts of the world as Dead by Dawn. So that's a cool kind of.
But they weren't. They weren't all Dead by Dawn.
Dead by Dawn is like a, and Evil Dead 2 is called Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn. Like that's a common thing in the
They
in the
weren't
movies.
all Dead by Dawn though. Does
They
that
weren't.
mean something? It obviously didn't stop
The
it.
demon
because,
failed.
But it didn't stop it because it takes over the girl.
I think it was just a demon talking shit.
I wasn't sure if that was like a rule.
No.
Like
I
if
don't
you
think so.
survive, then the
I mean,
demon didn't have success.
That's never happened in an Evil Dead movie. The demon's gone by dawn every time. So this is the first time that
But-
everybody didn't die and the
hold
demon
on.
persists to the next day.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, the demon's still fucking there and ready
Yes.
to go.
Yeah.
So any what the fuck moments for you guys in this movie? Anything that made you go, what the fuck?
I mean, yeah,
I
like,
feel like a
fuck
lot of
yeah.
them.
Like, yeah, the scene in the hall, that is why it's my favorite, because it just like shocked me with like how fucked up it could be.
So that scene also is kind of to me the same scene as when the fucking deer is laughing at Ash in the original
I
or
agree.
the second movie.
Same energy.
Because
Yeah.
it's like,
So
yo, you're fucking dead.
Weird.
Yeah.
Like
You ain't getting out of here. Like we're all going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the ultimate. The demon, it could take her out anytime it wants. It just wants to fuck with her. Like, that is so fucking horrible.
when they all morphed together,
Mm.
that was a pretty what the fuck. Like
Oh yeah.
like I saw it
Oh, yeah.
coming because of the pictures
Yeah,
and
they
stuff
show
in the
you
book.
yeah.
But I think just the process of it and everything was very like
Just putting the yeah.
icky feeling.
Yeah.
It was very like, ugh. But also the blood in the elevator to me is a what the fuck, because I had so many different feelings during that. Like one of the feelings was like, ugh, like that's it's so gross.
Yeah.
And then another feeling was, how did they not drown? And then I immediately went to, how are they okay after that thing just like fell?
Well, the
And, like,
water.
The blood
buoyancy,
helped.
the
I'm sure it
buoyancy.
cushioned some of
The
it, but
buoyancy.
like, I don't know. Also,
somebody should do the math on the buoyancy of a
when
human
they
body in
got
water's
by
elevator
that
thing.
end, when they're both like covered in blood, they look like completely different people.
It is
Dude,
wild,
I
yeah.
know the little girl. I was like,
You hardly saw it was her, like
with
her, because her hair
back
looked
and
darker
everything.
because
Yeah, I
of
was
the
like,
blood.
what the fuck?
And Beth with her whole face covered in blood, like she looked like a different person. To
I
me.
agree. Yeah, I think
yeah.
that was intentional too.
Oh, for sure.
Like
Yeah.
now we're like, because we have to be.
Yeah.
Like we're now coming out as different people. We are now killers now because we have to be.
We murder everyone in this building.
Oh, another what the fuck scene. The record player, and she opens her mouth. Anytime where the demons
wild.
are more concerned with fucking with you than they are with like
Yeah,
killing you.
because you're right. That's
God,
just that's a
so
fucked up
fucking
like.
Also
terrifying.
amazing.
Yeah,
like
that was so
they care
good.
about the torture.
I didn't
more.
see that coming at all. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like, oh, what you can do? There's no power. I'm just gonna fucking use my nail
Yeah.
and use my body as the speaker. Like genius.
That was yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck moment for me? I mean, obviously them morphing together into that giant thing. Like, I'm not thinking of that in an Evil Dead movie because they haven't really done that, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of the lady in the fucking basement being all fat and whatever,
Yeah.
or moving into like whatever it changes into, right? Like the big snake head, whatever
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So for them to do that, I was like, all right, that's cool because it's something different we haven't seen before in Evil Dead, and kind of what the fuck too, right? Because you're like, what the fuck
Yeah.
the whole time. So obviously, but guess what? It is now George's favorite moment. The fun facts of the fucking week.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Director Lee Cronin stated in an interview that 6,500 liters or 1,720 gallons of fake blood were used for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of blood.
That's a lot.
I need to know.
So what we're saying, okay, how much blood was used in Evil Dead 2013?
Yep, and I need to know which one was the bloodier film. Because I believe that makes it the bloodiest film of all time, whichever wins this.
Oh, fuck.
It's way more for Evil Dead 2013, isn't it?
Evil Dead 2013 used around 50,000 doesn't say, but then for the ending alone, with some estimates adding 20,000 gallons for the rest of the movie. Okay, so probably 50,000 gallons of blood for just the ending scene alone.
I assume that we mean fake blood.
Yeah,
I don't like that they keep saying blood, but I'm going to assume they mean fake blood.
I believe Evil Dead uses Karo syrup and food coloring.
Probably, yeah, makes sense. So if we're going on that logic, that was 70,000 gallons of blood used for Evil Dead 2013 versus 1,720 gallons.
So, I mean, still an amazingly impressive.
I feel like most of that was in the one scene.
In the elevator.
Well,
In the elevator.
Had to be.
Because there was blood in other parts, but not like
nothing like that.
Aggressive.
Not aggressive is that. That was almost too aggressive.
That's a big difference. I mean, just the rain alone, though, that's a lot of blood. I mean,
and you got to think,
be.
We're not watching everything they're using, too, right? Because how many different takes are they doing, and how many tests are okay, it's on act.
Oh my
right?
God, how many takes do you think they had to do with the elevator?
I'd hope one.
I hope just one. I hope just one. Because can you imagine having to clean that up and then redo it again?
That's why you get paid the big bucks, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
that's going to be like a day of reset before you can film again.
Maybe even more. Think about it. Everything has to be cleaned. Yeah.
Because you can't even have it even look like there was blood in there, or else.
Unless they're doing it miniature.
That's an expensive scene.
That's what I'm saying. Unless they're doing it like miniature, maybe half scale or something, and they're like, all right, we're going to make 2 just in case we fuck up. Then we don't have to reset, right? It's probably cheaper to make 2 than it is to clean up for a day and lose shooting.
There are a lot of scenes with people in the elevators too, though. You couldn't use miniatures for that.
But when it comes out, right, when it crashes,
you're saying just that part, essentially.
Right. There is a scene in a movie.
Shining.
Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. Where I think it's Volcano or something, where these Hummers are coming down the mountain while all the stuff's flooding out, and they're going across a bridge. And it looks so well done that for years people just thought they set that scene up. No, it was all fucking miniatures.
Nice.
And there's that, I think I told you about these guys before, Corridor Crew on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched their stuff.
Yeah, they did a breakdown of that scene, and even they were like, there's no way that's not like real. And it just looks so convincing because the way, the detail of all the miniatures they did, and they said that they actually had to do it like 3 times, so they had to reset it. But again, a scene like that to reset as a miniature versus yeah, exactly.
Another movie with great miniatures, Lord of the Rings.
Yep, a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah,
there's one scene in that people don't realize is not even a miniature; it's scaled up. You know what prop that is?
Carriage. What is it?
The ring.
Oh, yeah. When it's in somebody's hand, a hobbit's
literally
hand, it's like
not
this
knowing
big,
anything about this movie.
I
almost said the ring just because I was like, that would be the biggest like.
The scene in which they're filming it and it's showing like fires and stuff in the ring.
Yeah.
That ring is like this fucking big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's somebody holding it in like one of the backstage or behind the scenes, and it's like huge.
Wow. I want that one.
Right, I know. But it doesn't have any of the writing on it. It was just a gold ring. So they probably,
I mean, I guess easier than to try to like get all the minute details in there in a.
Well, I think they did it because they said they wanted the reflections of whatever was going on. And so if it's so small.
Just like wouldn't be able to pick it up.
It'll look good.
Right. The film, Evil Dead, this one, was originally meant to release exclusively through HBO Max via direct-to-streaming, but it performed so strongly during test screenings that the studio decided to release it theatrically instead.
I mean, I feel like good call based on what they made and stuff.
Well, and you got to think, during this time, COVID and everything, and obviously this is the tail end of that, people were releasing everything just on Max because nobody's going to the theaters.
I don't understand how there is a revenue stream in that. I don't get where your money comes from when you release a movie exclusively.
There's a lot of people you don't realize.
I was thinking that same thing.
Hold on. There's a lot of people you don't realize who pay for a month just to watch something that's coming on a streaming site. So if you know that there's 2 movies coming out, like they were doing in that COVID time where it was like, well, we're not releasing this in theaters, or it'll be in theaters for a week and then we're going to release it here, they would go, okay, well, I'm not going to subscribe to Max for a year or whatever. I'm just going to get it for that month.
Yeah.
So they're counting on that being the ticket going to the movie theater.
Yeah, but
right?
so many of these streaming things offer like the free trials too. So like
True.
I feel like I would just do something like that if it was just something I wanted to watch really quickly.
You got to think the general audience is not a smart person. So they're going, okay, we give 1 free trial. They can't use it again because, well, they only got 1 email address. They're not like me going, let me go to fakeemailgenerator.com.
Apple does that for you on your phone. It is a built-in feature when you're in Safari. It'll just generate a new email for you anytime you want, and it'll forward it to your iCloud account anytime. Like you could just do that all day forever.
I like it.
Yeah.
The pizza place is called Henrietta's, a reference to Henrietta Noble, the demon in the basement from Evil Dead 2.
That's right.
Who's
in my fruit salad?
Right. Who is played by who?
Ted Raimi.
Yeah, Sam Raimi's brother. Great.
That's right.
And if you watch the Evil Dead series, Ted Raimi is in it for a long time, and Tara's going to watch it here soon.
Mm-hmm. You got to.
The show.
Yes.
Okay.
It rules.
Start it like October 1st.
Where
Just
can
put
I?
it on.
Is it
It's on
on
Netflix right
Okay.
now. At least I think it still is. Put it in your queue. Watch it. If you get through the second episode without going, I need to keep watching this, there's something wrong with you.
Or just maybe it's just not for you and you can turn it off.
Hold on. You know how people are like, we got to watch Parks and Rec, and then you watch the first season and you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And they're like, whoa. Hold on.
Parks and Rec definitely kicks off on
I say that to
season 2.
people about The Office too. Like you need to get through that first season because it's so awkward and uncomfortable. Like you have to learn everything in the characters and then appreciate it.
So same, but the first episode of Evil Dead, you might be like, it's okay.
I could see that.
But then you realize in the second episode, it's being played for laughs, and you're like, oh, this is fucking amazing.
I love that show.
Me too. Also, Lucy Lawless. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. To get into character of the alternate personality, actress Alyssa Sutherland took inspiration from Jim Carrey's performance as Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask.
Wow, you're totally right. I totally see it.
it.
Yeah, 100%.
I definitely get that. Yeah, for sure.
Dude, like every bit of it, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah, her fucking bouncing around the hallway, even like it's the same energy, 100%.
And it makes the movie better for me.
Yeah,
Like just thinking about it, I'm like, all right, now I want to watch The Mask again, which I don't know how we haven't fucking done.
Wow, I haven't seen The Mask in
Cuban Pete.
oh my god, a long time. I can't even remember the last time I watched The Mask.
I love that movie.
At least over 10 years ago, for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm probably coming up on 20 years since
Like,
I've
for
seen it. I
sure.
was like in my early teens at best when I saw that.
I hate to say this, but the Jim Carrey 90s run, I probably watch once a year.
Yeah.
So Ace
Dumb and
Ventura,
Dumber,
1 and
Ace
2, Dumb and Dumber,
Ventura, yeah,
The
yeah.
Mask, Truman Show.
I've seen The Truman Show and Liar Liar both more
And Liar,
frequently
Liar,
than any of those other ones.
Yeah, I watch
I
Truman
don't
Show
know
probably
why.
once
I
a
just
year.
it
It's
has
so good.
like come
If I don't see you.
up.
If I don't see you. Yeah, anyways. The sound of Ellie biting out a man's eyeball in the hallway is actually an audio recording of Bruce Campbell furiously biting into an apple.
It's funny.
Yeah, I
Put
could-
it in the fucking movie.
It's funny because that sound stood out to me today when I watched
I
it.
got this.
Right. And it's funny because, like, would that really happen? No. The way she just, like, bites him, like, she wouldn't just pull out the eyeball perfectly like that.
I was trying to imagine like the logistics of it while I was watching it. I was like, is she like sucking
Right.
and biting and demon strength all
I
at the
thought the
same
same
time?
thing
Like,
even
what is she
about how it
doing
looked
to him?
after because
Right.
it was like
Didn't really make sense.
I felt like there would have been more of an obvious hole there. Instead, it looked like it was like just a whole section. Of,
Right. And
like,
then-
missing.
bit like a big chunk of it.
yeah.
And then let me spit it into this
But
kid's mouth, and then he
but
just chokes on it.
spit the
What?
eyeball out so specifically
yeah.
without any chunk of flesh. Or
Again,
That was a
Demon-
Sam
Demon-
Raimi moment.
Demon powers. Like, yeah.
That was a
when,
full
oh my
on,
god, when it went into the kid's mouth and he choked on it,
What a
that
way to
was
die.
just
What a way to
oh my
die.
god.
Yeah, it sucks.
I want you in this movie. Cool. Evil Dead. How am I
If
dying?
he
You choke
survived
an
that,
eyeball.
no one would believe him if he was ever like, I almost died choking on an eyeball.
Whose
No,
eyeball?
no, like a real eyeball.
My brother's
Yeah.
eyeball. How did it get there? A woman
Spit it into
spit it out
my
of his
mouth.
face and spit it into my
And
mouth.
then-
Swear to God, dude. Swear to God.
From
And then
like
they're just
30
like-
feet away.
They're
It was
like
a 1 in a
all
million shot,
stoned
dog.
when he decides to share this. He like kept it to
Everybody's
himself. They're
like,
all stoned,
"Shut
and
the
then
fuck
the one
up."
friend just goes like
All right.
kinky.
You ready?
Like,
After credits roll, you see him go, and he gets up and spits it out, and he just walks away.
he missed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like he just
Yeah. Really
Weird.
dodged a bullet with that one.
wait. What did everybody wake up? Like the guy missing the eye.
Yeah,
the,
they were all
the
laughing.
two
Yeah, yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Also, I don't remember both kids being there.
don't
I
know
remember
if
the guy without
that
the eye. I remember the older guy on the floor. I don't remember.
They might have
both
been
of
like in the
kids.
background laughing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I think it was implied that it was the whole
That everyone
hallway,
was.
though, because people were walking out. Once the kids started walking out the door, that's when I was like, okay, it's everybody.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know that I'd fully call it a what the fuck moment, but another moment that was like wild to me is when it shows the next day that blonde is in this. I mean, it just shows that it really was just like the rest of the building
Didn't have
was
any.
not. It
yeah.
like didn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's
Also,
the-
how did she? like she just missed.
Because
Like,
she was oblivious.
The whole
you could tell the way
lobby was.
She didn't go through that lobby.
No, but she walked right past it, and she walked past so much blood on the ground.
FaceTime.
That's true. She was on FaceTime.
Yeah.
She noticed it when
Also,
she noticed
there's no
it.
smell.
Maybe it's implied
You're telling
that
me
she's
there
like a
was no smell?
self-centered person.
She was.
You're telling me there was no
she spritzed,
smell
before she got out
from
of her
the
room. She spritzed herself.
disgusting dead monster in that thing, and all the blood.
I think she's self-centered and just is not concerned with the goings on in the
And
world.
also that building was pretty shitty, so there's probably some smells going on in it all the time anyway. So she's like,
that was my next thing.
yeah.
Another day, another smell.
That was going to be my next thing.
Yeah.
Who is she that she's living in this building by herself? She looks like she's like 20 years old, and she's going to stay at this awesome cabin that her boyfriend's father or uncle owns.
Did they say this was like New York or something or Chicago? I'm sure it's right there.
I don't know if they said. They showed the sister. So where was the sister?
But it could be like an old rent-controlled building, you know?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That shitty ass bar that the sister was taking her pregnancy test in was not in the same place, right? Because I feel like they would have spoken or seen each other.
No, she said she got off a plane.
Yeah. So
who knows?
Because that was a whole different place too.
Gotcha. Last fun fact. We've already kind of touched on it, but Bruce Campbell cameo in the first of the 3 records Danny's plays. Bruce can be heard saying, "Destroy it. It's called The Book of the Dead for a reason." At the Beyond Fest premiere.
I would need to hear.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Directed Lee Cronin suggested Campbell could be playing Ash again in the recordings, as the series has had multiple instances of Ash going back in time.
Yeah.
So
technically could have been Ash.
I want to see that.
There are comic books, I believe, that cover that time.
How many
I don't know how
seasons are on
canon they
this
are,
show
though.
that I'm about to watch? Okay.
3, and it ends on a giant cliffhanger that you go, motherfucker, I want this to keep going.
I'm like halfway through season 2 now. I don't want to finish it.
No, but you do. Because
No,
it's
I'm
going to
not
make
doing
you... No.
You got me not wanting to do
Hold
it.
on.
Now.
It's a good cliffhanger because it makes you think about what I just said about that, which is he could be going back in time. Because it is... No, I don't want to say anything. Watch it.
Don't
Finish
tell
it.
me. Yeah,
Finish it.
I don't like watching a show where I already know I'm going to be
hold on.
left.
It's a finish to it, but it leaves it open for like a, oh shit, this could be cool. Right? So it's a wrapped up story. Like every season has a wrapped up story.
There's no loose ends.
That's what I'm saying. Because
no,
you said cliffhanger, which makes it sound like loose end.
Think of it as you just watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and there's an after credits scene, right? And it's like, oh, what could be? But they don't make.
But like, even if it wasn't, you're like, well, that was still a satisfying story.
Okay, so to me, that's not a cliffhanger. If something ends on a cliffhanger, there's loose ends. Like you are unanswered.
The story has wrapped up, but then they just add an extra scene to make you be like, well, that could be
like more of a teaser. Or
right,
something.
right.
Okay. Then fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay, so definitely.
Okay, fine.
Watch it. Final decision time. Out of 10, what would we rate it and why? We're gonna go George first, since you're back on the show. All right, we'll go to Tara if you want to collect your thoughts.
I keep landing on 8.5 in my head and heart. I think I still prefer 2013 as like a 9.5, and this is just a shade down for me. But I really, really, really enjoyed this movie.
I feel like I'm with you. Like The Evil Dead 2013 was a more fleshed out, longer story, longer things, where this movie just felt like a, hey, you ready for this? Boom, people are dying.
And I very much loved
dead.
it. I mean, but
yeah, nothing wrong with it, but I felt like this was almost like a, how would I say, like an offshoot, almost like when you have that big TV show and then they have like, hey, this character, Joey, is going to have his own show.
Yeah, it's a little side story, whereas the 2013 you feel is more like mainline series,
right,
if you will. Yeah, I could see that.
But just as good.
I just enjoyed it more as a film. I don't know why.
It feels
I don't
fuller.
even know why.
I think that's why, yeah. 8.5.
8.5 Evil Dead Rise.
I don't remember what I rated the 2013 one. I remember there being parts that I talked about where I was like, unhappy is not the right word, but I specifically remember being like, why wouldn't you do this? Why would, like, there were so many parts where I was like, why did you do it? Why did you do that?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do this? Like, there were so many parts where I was mad at the characters for like decisions they were making. I don't feel that in this one. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I don't remember that from 2013, but I do know what you mean with this one. This one is very like, everybody's motivations are like,
yeah,
that's exactly what I would do.
Other than obviously getting the book, and because that I immediately was like, don't do that. But obviously then you wouldn't have a movie. But everything after things kick off, I feel like there was not a moment where I was like, what are you doing? Like, don't do that or make a better choice. Because I feel like there wasn't much else they could have done in a lot of those moments.
There's one stupid decision. I'm reading this. Well, I'm not reading the book.
Kicking it off
the
was
book.
the
I mean, yeah, he even tried to
bringing it
like
back to your
get the
apartment.
vinyl. He tried to get the needle off, and it was like,
Yep,
nah.
nope. Guess
Yeah.
what? It's happening. So
Yeah.
you rated the 2013 Evil Dead a 7.5.
Okay. I would give this one an 8 then.
An 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I do, but only because of that. Only because I feel like when I was watching it, there wasn't as many moments where like,
You feel like you had to take like fewer leaps of logic.
yeah. Which,
Okay.
again, seems like a weird argument because the whole movie, you're taking a leap of logic here because it's not realistic. But
I see what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
I wasn't as aggravated with some of the
Sure.
choices that the people that are not real people were making,
Yeah.
were or were not making.
Makes sense.
But having said that, I do feel like which is going to sound contradictory. I do feel like there's a better chance I would rewatch the 2013 one.
I feel the same.
But I don't know why.
I've seen 2013 like a bunch of times. I don't know when I would have watched Evil Dead Rise again if not for this podcast. I liked it, but I find the other one much more rewatchable.
And
Yeah.
maybe that's because I feel like I got everything out of it.
Yeah, it's
You
a
know
one.
what I mean? I
it's
got
almost,
everything out of this one that like I could have expected. Like I was sad. I'm satisfied with the experience that I had with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like with rewatching the first one, I think it is also because maybe it doesn't feel as heavy to me because of all those moments where I'm like,
Okay.
Okay, I can
do it
see
differently.
Yeah.
Like this one is heavier to me. Like there's a lot
Yeah,
in this one.
yeah.
There's a lot of the family dynamic, all that stuff, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know that I could.
This is a more
Watch
fucked
it a
up,
bunch of
sadder
times.
movie
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure to me. Like, if all of those guys, those friends died, I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, that's what
I mean,
happens in a horror
terrible.
movie.
And
Whatever.
then like obviously that they did put the sibling aspect in there, but like this was a mother attacking her children.
Yeah, that is absolutely just the most horrific fucking thing. And
Like-
the littlest girl, like not even really knowing what the fuck is
And
going
that
on.
because also that's the person that's supposed to protect you over anybody and anything else in your life.
when
Right.
it said when the mom says, "Don't let it take my babies," dude.
Oh, dude. And the way she delivers that line, like
So
you're like,
good.
all right,
And I tell you what,
mommy's
But
with the
then it
maggots
does.
now. What?
Yeah.
I was about to say, I tell you what, Auntie Beth got 1 out of 3. Like she got one of them out of there, but the other two
Yeah, it did take
kind
her
of fail.
babies.
Kind of fail.
Yeah.
A little bit of a fail, and traumatized the last one. So like,
But like, what would you have done different? You know,
I
Like,
mean, nothing she could have.
you know, just
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do it.
I
We're
just
gonna
thought
do
of
it.
one thing that I would have been like, no, why did you do that?
okay.
But this is the only thing that comes to mind.
Better not be the little girl opening the door because that's
No.
Okay.
No, I was already upset about that.
Yeah,
but
sure.
again, you could argue because
Okay.
she was like 6.
Dude, yeah, I
whatever.
mean,
My mom.
When she leaves them outside the room while she's in the room with the headphones on,
Yeah,
listening to
yeah, but she did that on purpose.
I
Like,
know she
yeah.
was like, "Stay out there. I don't want you." But okay,
what choice? Yeah, I mean, what choice do you make in that movie? Like, what's
My
more
thought-
dangerous?
You do
Like, you're all
this,
together.
You do that.
Yeah,
my thought
true
is,
story.
if you're gonna leave them out there anyways, because you don't want them to hear it, you don't need the headphones.
Good point.
They're out. You've locked them outside of the room. At least if you don't have the headphones on, they can't hear what you're listening to, but you can hear if they fucking scream or get thrown against
Yeah,
that door.
that was a silly choice. I mean, yeah, or what if all fucking 3 of them were dead and the monster's right behind you? Like, you
Well,
cannot
She
make
could have
you
easily-
cannot make yourself oblivious.
She could have
in this
gotten
situation.
off of that and walked out, and everyone could have been dead
Yeah.
because she was oblivious the whole time with those headphones.
Yeah,
on.
Well, they did it for the reason of sneaking up.
I know
behind her.
why they did it.
And
I'm
the
just
scene
saying,
of her
like,
looking at the window and you're seeing.
That's
yeah.
it. That's the only part that I probably was like,
I think
what?
I'm with
Why
you.
did you do that?
yeah, that was a silly choice.
There was way more in the first one where I was like, no, come
Well,
on.
also they can't do the thing with her being a speaker if she's not listening to it with headphones because she would already be listening to it with speakers, right?
Right.
So you're doing that. Whatever. Steve's score. Let me read it. This movie is all that it needs to be for an Evil Dead movie. Would I like there to be a little bit more of some goofy set pieces? Yes, but they're going off of the success of the 2013 Evil Dead, and this continues that beautifully. If this is the beginning of a story and it continues it on from that opening scene, I'm here for it. Also, them having the guts to kill the 2 kids, fucking A.
But honestly, not just the 2 kids, but the other 2 kids in
Right.
the hallway, even though you didn't really know them.
Lots
Fuck
of
'em.
children
Dead.
died in this movie.
At least 4 children,
Children
and one
deaths.
extremely traumatized
Yeah.
for the rest of her life. And if we're gonna argue even further, the people at the lake were not older. I would have said maybe they're 20.
19, 20,
Yeah.
So
19
to me,
24,
that's still, I mean...
Yeah, those are kids. But not kids, yeah. So
they don't have the same sympathy that the middle and early high school kids did for me. I felt like that's what the other kids were.
But I will say they were still younger than the ones that went to the cabin in the first one, or in the 2013.
Everybody else has been college age, except for like 3 people in this movie who died.
5.
Okay, yeah, I could argue that they were college age.
4. The 2 kids outside in the hall, and then the 2 kids.
Younger.
You think both those kids?
I think so.
Okay.
They were. There's no way they were.
They're
college
high school.
age.
High
yeah,
school.
high school
right.
probably.
So everybody was like high school and younger, and that's when I'm like, yeah, you're still just a little baby. You don't know what the fuck is going on in the world.
So definitely the daughter was, because she was still saying such and such's mom is going to take us.
Yeah.
I could have argued maybe the son doing the DJing might have been out of high school, maybe. But
I do want to say one thing about the son. Does anybody know that that's a transgendered person?
I knew instantly.
I
knew that because I looked that up.
Sure.
I didn't actually know that.
I knew instantly,
Sorry,
but
I didn't look that up. I stumbled upon it as trivia.
I did look more into him after I watched it, but I could tell instantly.
I absolutely love that they didn't bring it into the story. They
yeah.
didn't say a single word about it.
I was wondering if anybody was going to bring it up here because I was like, is it even worth that's?
Well, yeah. In my mind,
I think that's the point, though. Like,
yeah, because in my mind,
exactly the point.
Just roll with it.
In my mind, it doesn't need to be brought up.
Exactly.
He's playing the role of that's what he signs up for now. That's
Correct.
what he auditions for. That's what, you know.
And I like it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
And you're seeing that a lot more, and I'm here for it. Play the role that, like, you know.
Correct.
That you're in there for now.
Cool. Well, we're at the end of this one. George, I want to say thanks for coming back on the Decision Reel podcast. It's been, like I said, it's been a while. Probably more than a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder, because you've been on, I think you ended up taking George's seat.
And I was on, we've had this set up over a year.
I could find out.
And I was never here for that.
Yeah, I could find out the last episode you were on.
Because remember, I don't know, we were doing
Wayne's World.
I did Wayne's World? I did that episode?
What an episode to go out on. At the top. Just at the top of comedy.
But we were in this room when we were doing our Halloween October movies last year. So we've been in here for over a year.
So would you want to guess what episode number Wayne's World was?
What is this one?
This is episode 135. Not counting all of our...
51.
Okay. Oh, I mean, you're close. It was 61.
Okay.
Oh, that is really close.
So if you came on the episode 10 of Mystery Men, you're on for like 60 episodes.
Yeah, so over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you think about that, now your 135 count or whatever, does that count your extra episodes or no?
No, that's just the mainline episode.
61 to 135. I mean, if you think about if doing one a week, it's definitely been over a year because that's. Yeah. I mean, that's double.
Yeah, I could find the exact date that was published.
I left like right before I was like starting classes, like a month or so before I started classes, and I've been out for like a month now, so that makes sense. And I was in for a year, so
yeah, because I'm not seeing. I'm just trying to look to see if there's anything else, but no, because I used to.
That's so 61st episode to 135th or whatever it is now is 74 weeks.
So I missed
if we did
74
one every week. So
that. We'll see you in another 74.
And a year is 52 weeks.
Sure,
so.
You're right. Are we sure?
Yes.
Okay.
It's 52th weeks.
52th.
So.
Depending on if it's a leap year or not. The leap years have different weeks?
It's just a day.
Just
one day. So I don't think that changes the...
Maybe. Because what if that one day is a Sunday?
And it just starts... So like the year, it starts on a Saturday, but ends on a Sunday.
Right.
So it starts a new week. I think that you still count that as.
Yeah, I think.
I don't think anyone's going to go. It's 52 weeks in one day.
That's probably why there is a leap year, so there isn't
balances out every now and then.
Exactly. Anyways, yeah. Again, thanks George for coming back on. Maybe we'll see you here some more. Who knows?
I think so. Yeah.
You come in whenever you want. There's always a seat every other week. There's always a seat open when Josh isn't here. If not, I mean, we can move one over and squeeze you in if you want to come in whenever.
Snuggle up.
And get it going.
Even on like the corner or something.
Or something. Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's all good, man. Whenever you're free and able and willing to come out. Next week is Josh's pick. He has not.
Okay.
told me
Okay.
what it's going to be. He asked, can it be a horror movie? Just because,
Spooky season.
spooky season
We're
coming
kicking
up.
off early. Yeah.
Right. I said, hey, do whatever you want. And he went, all right. So I don't know.
Because we
what that
did
means.
last October, we all four, because we each did a more like
horror movie.
that
so
type of theme.
you know what? If they're going to release horror movies all in April, we're going to start doing them in September. So hell yeah. Next week, it's just going to be a mystery, like a ghost. Are they real? We don't know. Is the next episode going to be real? We'll see.
It's so paranormal.
Oh my God, it's going to be great. But hey, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for watching if you're on YouTube. If you are there, maybe give us a like, a comment, a subscribe, a something, to help us out with the channel. If you want to help us out, hey, go to our website, www.thedecisionreel.com. Find yourself some merch there with the code REEL, REEL 10. You can get 10% off your order. Get whatever you want. Help us out. Do your thing. If you don't want to do that, fuck it. Have fun and listen to us talk about shit and movies and life and ghost stories. Bye.
Bye.